You guys ever imagined the funny monkey man and the giant lizard and how they fight another giant monkey man and a ice lizard, and that's like a very creative choice of making a movie.
Uh,
Oh
yeah.
my god. Uh, that was I mean, if they commit to it for the entire movie, I might give the credits.
Yeah, it's just that it's just we've had Superman and Zod, Black Panther and Killmonger, so we just need to have the hero of the version, but just the opposite, and then have them fight. And that's how you make movies these days.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Mm.
Welcome back to another Reviews Corp
Yeah.
podcast.
This movie in particular, GXK. It's. I mean, what do you guys think of it first? I want to know.
I mean,
Sucks.
Just
sucks. Yeah, it sucks. I mean, people said it's so
yeah.
entertainingly bad, and I was watching. I was like, wow. Yeah. Most of it is just like.
My take on this movie, it's that it's. Oh, you were gonna say?
Yeah, I just gotta say that most of it is just looking at Kong just fucking
I think you cut
around.
off there.
Oh, really? No. Yeah. So I say that most people say it's
Is he muted?
entertainingly.
I can't tell if he's speaking or not.
Yeah, I'm
Uh,
speaking.
Unity speaking.
Oh, because I can't hear him.
Really? Damn.
So one thing he was like mentioning is that there's like the entertaining aspect that everybody seems to be talking about is the memes coming out of this movie. It just seems like they finally accepted that this is a batshit franchise, and stopped trying to take it so seriously.
Yeah, and and to be honest, I wanna watch it. I was so bored out of my mind. It's just Kong just walking around doing. I don't even know what he doing, and the humans just walking around the forest doing nothing. That's most of the movies. I was like, what the fuck? It's, it's yeah. I have so many I try to watch it in so many attempts. It's just like, oh fuck. I just don't want to continue for most of the times.
Yeah, I just like it's just so weird, like because like when I was not paying attention to the marketing at all. So like when I heard about Godzilla minus one, and then I heard that there's this another Godzilla film coming out, and it's like, what the fuck? Like, wasn't there just a Godzilla film? I was like, oh, that's not MonsterVerse. That's like it's from Japan. It's completely separate. It's not connected at all. Yeah, and that like, thank God. But yeah, it's a lot of that. It's a lot of Godzilla movies in a row, and then I think Monarch was also in a similar time frame as well. Yeah, it's just they're really milking this franchise.
Yeah, I mean,
That TV show was. Oh, good.
to be honest, no one even remembers this franchise. That's a thing.
I still don't get why it
Yeah.
is a franchise.
Money.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, yeah. So you are saying about the show? You seen it?
Oh yeah, Monarch. I've seen it. It is bad. Very, very bad. Um, for starters, just a quick rundown of the show. It takes place a year after the event of Godzilla 2014, about a year later, and it breaks continuity in several instances. They alter Godzilla's behavior just so they can introduce a character that doesn't really belong. How they introduce this character. On top of that, she is her character writing is it is abysmal. They make her insufferable. Funny thing though, she's not a Mary Sue, which is a very, I mean, it's a surprise to be sure, but a welcome one. But yeah, no, she is insufferable throughout the entire movie, and she is quite useless in a lot of instances because there are things that she discovers that anybody else could have with more elegance and a lot faster than she doesn't, as a character, she doesn't really deserve to exist. Like everyone around her has more merit to exist than she does. But yeah, and they also break their own world building. It's because they have separate writers, and they all have different ideas for where they want to take the MonsterVerse, and they don't communicate with each other. And because of that, we get things like Axis Mundi, which is like this subdivision of the Hollow Earth, which is supposed to be closer to the crust of the Earth than the Hollow Earth, but for some reason, for some unexplained reason, gravity causes time to flow differently. So 50 days in the Hollow Earth in Axis Mundi, sorry, in Axis Mundi, 50 days there is 50 years above ground, which, I mean, it doesn't make sense at all. It would make a lot more sense with Hollow Earth, but then we don't see that happening in Godzilla versus Kong. So the only reason they wanted
Or
it
in
to
this movie
introduce
as
that
well,
kind
yeah.
of concept. Oh yeah, it's not in this movie either. And the reason why they introduced the Axis Mundi in the first place is because they wanted to have a character moment between the grandmother of the main character. They wanted to have like this little reunion. But the thing is that mechanically it just doesn't work. Like the acting is phenomenal, but like no, it just doesn't work. You can't just you can't have that.
Yeah.
Mm.
Well, before we continue, welcome back to another Reviews Corp podcast. This is episode 23. I'm your good co-host, Red Devil Os Reviews, and I'm back here again with my co-host, Unity Review and Analysis. What's up, Unity?
Hello. So we just got to talk about this movie, and yeah. Oh, nice. Yeah. So just
Thank you, Xenodrome.
thank
I
you,
appreciate it.
thank you. Yeah, appreciate it. Yep.
And we're here today with a brand new guest. Please introduce yourself.
Hello there. I am Blackaroonie. I focus on media criticisms, and don't be fooled by the amount of Godzilla content you find in my channel. It is just media in general. I talk about media. If you can find me on the Twitter, you can find me on Reddit, although I don't use it that much. And every Sunday at about 12 p.m. Eastern Time, we have a podcast called Black Screen where we talk about EFAB. It is not affiliated with another podcast that we know. It is completely different, legally distinct, if you will. But yeah.
Yeah.
Of course. So we're happy to have you. Especially since
I'm happy to be here.
we're not like too much into the MonsterVerse kind of thing, so we kind of needed some help on this one because it was quite a doozy of a movie.
Yeah.
Franchise
Yeah.
in general.
Yeah.
I just
can
can't
imagine.
believe this franchise is a decade old, and you just don't feel it at the same time. Despite it's really weird. Because
The reason why you don't
when you think
feel it
about
is because
the
they're all
Bryan
disconnected.
Cranston,
Hmm?
yeah, they're all disconnected, of course. Yeah, we just haven't had a good human character since Bryan Cranston. I mean, I guess
Oh, yeah,
like what you're saying,
absolutely.
the Russell father son in Monarch. I don't know if they're on par or like I know they're good is what I'm hearing.
Yeah.
Okay, so the character writing for Lee Shaw, which is the name of the character writing for him is good, but all the praise you can levy at the show just begins and ends there
Okay,
because
so it's like
it
it's
all
more
comes
like
down
their
to the
actors are
performance
just
because
really
these are
good, or
very
yeah.
yeah, they're very talented actors and they're doing the absolute best with what they're given. And in terms of character writing, they're given something decent, but it's not enough to really redeem the show in any way.
That makes
Yeah.
sense.
And the show also antagonizes them pretty often for no reason. I mean, if I had a nickel for every time I see one of the Russell kid being antagonized in a show of a big budget franchise, I'd have 2 nickels, which isn't a lot, but it's weird that it happened twice.
Mhm.
You gotta do better.
Yeah.
Oh man.
You got to do better, Senator. You got to
do
step up.
better. it, yeah, it sounds like the second movie, like the first Godzilla vs. Kong.
Lurking in the stream.
Oh.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh, I know who it is. Don't worry about it. This is more of like my drama issue thing. Don't worry about it.
That's fair.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah. So another installment, Godzilla X Kong, The New Empire, is the next film in this MonsterVerse saga. Yeah.
It's so hollow. It's like what's our thoughts on all the movies? We never seen the show.
Earth.
It's like it's so hollow. I mean, I don't remember much about all of them. It's like
Yeah, I remember this franchise. They love to glaze King Kong, or he's Kong because they don't have the rights to call him King Kong yet, from what I understand.
What?
I think that might be it. Yeah, I find it funny that America has a better time writing for King Kong than Godzilla. It's almost as if Japan has a better grasp on who or what Godzilla is than the U.S. And same with how the U.S. would have a better understanding of King Kong than Japan. Interesting. I wonder what that could mean.
Oh yeah, yeah, definitely. Like when I watched like Godzilla v Kong, like that movie, and then I watched this movie. They definitely love King Kong a lot. In terms of like giving him a lot of scenes or interactions with other characters, or whatever he does, he just has more to do compared to Godzilla. I guess it's just easier to animate a giant gorilla. So there's that. Yeah. So this is like 3 years after the last movie.
Hey, remember
after they
I
fought
think it's a lot
the
deeper
mecha.
than that.
Yep. Oh my god.
They fought the mecha Godzilla in that last movie.
Yeah. So the reason why, besides of what I hinted at, the reason why I think my theory is why they focus on Kong solely is so at the when Kong Skull Island first came out, it came out with the sole purpose to introduce Kong into the MonsterVerse, just to have an excuse to have Godzilla versus King Kong happen again. That's the only reason why he was introduced. Now, granted, Kong Skull Island is a decent movie. I will say that it is decent. It does its job. It's decently written, decently paced. The character writing it's okay. It's all right.
Yeah, I could
Will I
see
call
that.
it stellar?
No.
I don't think I would
More
call
like
it stellar,
just
but
okay. Just okay.
it's definitely not bad, and it's easily the best MonsterVerse movie. Which, I mean, it isn't saying much, but it's something.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
Compared to other films, it's okay. But like if we're talking about MonsterVerse quality, which seems to differ from most films, it's definitely But after Kong's purpose was fulfilled, I think they wanted to do more with Kong. Hell, this movie was originally supposed to be a Son of Kong movie. Did you know that?
What? Huh?
Yeah. Especially after that, seeing the baby. I guess like that's what people thought it was.
I think the director
first,
mentioned that. Well, actually, no. A few leaks have come out and said that this movie was originally a Son of Kong movie. So.
Yeah.
That explains a lot. So
there's definitely some mixed ideas. from this
Yeah.
in the final product. Yeah.
Yeah, it's you can really tell because most of the time you just look at Kong and it's like, what the fuck? What is it called? Godzilla versus X Kong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hold on, give me a second.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's. I mean, yeah. To be honest, I think Godzilla. I mean, I think Kong Skull Island is the only movie that I wasn't bored the entire way. Which is
Yeah.
like, yeah.
So just some setups from that opening. You know, Kong is just going. He's in a hollow earth, and he's just establishing his territory. He's also looking for more of his kind. They have like the whole. He has like he chipped his tooth or something like that, so it's giving him pain. And Godzilla is pretty much the Hulk of this universe, where he just randomly shows up, destroys a town to kill monster titans, and then goes to sleep in the Colosseum.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty much how they introduce these monsters.
Yeah, it's like it's so weird because they just like fuck 5 1. Oh great. Yeah,
allow me to red pill you on that subject. So the whole issue with Kong's chipped tooth, the entire reason why that plot point exists is so we can introduce a character. Now, in the MonsterVerse, it is established that Godzilla and Kong have a rivalry. Why? Who the hell knows? Who the hell cares? It's a monster movie. So, what they establish is that as soon as Kong and Godzilla are on the same plane of existence, Godzilla will go after him because Godzilla's racist, I guess. So we see Godzilla rise, and forgive me for jumping the shark, but this
go ahead.
Becomes important as time goes on. So they show us Godzilla rising from wherever he is, I think Rome, as soon as Kong leaves the hollow earth to get his tooth fixed by this hippie, because that's what he is. This character Trapper, he's a hippie. He's a hippie veterinarian guy, and I hate him. I hate him by virtue of being a hippie. That I just hate hippies.
His name is Trapper, by the way.
You would think. Yeah, his name is Trapper. Wow. So you see Godzilla rise, and the implication. So the implication is that, oh, Godzilla's gonna come for Kong. He senses Kong. Oh, they gotta fix the tooth now before Godzilla shows up and wrecks Kong's, knocks him out. Right? No such thing happens. Godzilla does not appear. There is no immediate threat. They just lounge around and about. Kong just lounges around and about. We introduce Trapper. We give Kong's tooth. It's a plot point that gets resolved in like 5 minutes, and we don't actually see Kong really use the tooth again. The most we get is when the Scar King laughs at him for having a metal tooth, and then in the final battle when he loses said tooth, he laughs at the Scar King like, haha, you don't have a tooth anymore. Like, and that just pretty much this entire plot point was just to set up a gag. It really goes to show the priority of the writers. Now, as for the opening itself of Godzilla going on patrol,
he's like the Hulk of this universe.
But
stupider.
That whole subject was introduced first. I think it was in GVK. Now, the issue with that in particular is that, okay, you have this animal, essentially. You have this animal, because that's what he is. He, at the end of the day, he's an animal. You have him hunt others like him, and I don't think people really realize this, but the implication is that, since the last film, right? Since the last event, he doesn't really trust his own kind. So what he has to do in this particular narrative is he's going to eliminate the threat, right? And that would be the logical assumption to make, you know, when you're writing a narrative, right, and you're establishing these narrative plot points, the logical thing to go by is, you know how like Trey Parker and Matt Stone, they write their stories, right? They go, this happens, but then this happens, therefore this happens.
Yeah.
Right.
In this particular narrative, it's just this happens, and then this happens, and then this happens, and then we get nowhere. We get contradictions, we get plot holes, contrivances, and you know, as a writer, you definitely do not want that. Um, but yeah, he's going on a Titanicide. That's the implication, because in the intro to the previous eventuality, GBK, in the intro to, we see files that indicate that these creatures are dead, killed by, well, they were killed. They were killed. And this would have made sense if they stuck with it, but I mean, they kind of did stick with it in GXK. But the issue is that not only is it not addressed, nobody seems to worry all that much. So it kind of just seems like, oh, he's just going around and about destroying cities, fighting anything that gets in his way, causing tremendous amount of collateral damage, and nobody bats an eye. I mean, the president of the organization that is tasked by the government to monitor these events tells the Italian government to essentially bite it, because, oh, our Colosseum is in danger, people are dying, but he's like, no, and then they just let this catastrophic force of nature just sleep in their Colosseum. And first of all, you can't just do that, because the government pays you to do all these things. Like, they can pull the funding at any time they want. The government, the same government, by the way, because this is not just like the US government, this is also a coalition of multiple governments from around the world. This is the United Nations that has control over this, because this is a planetary issue, right? This is an issue for like the whole world to solve, right? This is a coalition of different people. Now, you would think that they would be a lot more responsible with how they handle things, right? But no, they just tell they just tell Italy to bite it, essentially. Now, any rational person would be like, oh, well, there's obviously going to be consequences, right? Because, you know, you can't just tell an entire government to go away and leave them alone. You basically shoo them off like they're flies. You can't just do that, especially the Italian government. You know, it's Italy, who used to be allied with Hitler back in the day in World War II. Now, I don't know what the state of Italian military is, but if they decide to declare war on this thing that is currently sleeping in their Colosseum, in a historical landmark that has stood the test of time, like, if they want to go to war, they will go to war, and they absolutely should, because, like, first of all, this is government negligence. All right, they're neglecting basically their organization, Monarch, is neglecting their duties to defend the world from Titans, as well as studying them, because that's the whole thing, right? They're supposed to study them, but not only are they not studying Godzilla, they're just letting him do whatever he wants. And it's strange too, because they also have the weaponry to kill him. Like, they have the oxygen destroyer, and this wasn't something that Monarch built. This was something the U.S. government built. I mean, they have the resources to build an oxygen destroyer, which means that it probably was kind of easy, so they could just make more. And I don't see a reason why governments around the world wouldn't have their own oxygen destroyer, so they could kill Godzilla whenever they want. So, like, when you introduce these things so haphazardly and don't account for them for the story falls apart, and stakes are just non-existent anymore.
Yeah, the way that the film, like, kind of presents all of this information is like Godzilla just shows up whenever a Titan comes out of the groundwork, I guess, and then, like, he just, like, the world is his playground, basically.
Yeah. What
So I
was
guess
like
like everybody in the world just agrees. Yeah, let's just have he saved the city, guys. The whole SpongeBob meme. Um,
yeah.
No,
yeah, in this universe, it's like
exactly.
you
It's the whole
might as well
Yeah.
just like
SpongeBob beam all over again.
yeah.
Like,
It's
we did it, Patrick. We saved the city.
So why is he killing all the Titans again? I thought he was about. The thing is, Godzilla's racist. Evolved. I know it's kind of confusing, but yeah, Godzilla's racist, so that's why he kills
wow.
all the other Titans.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah, hopefully.
yeah,
I hope we give you the insight too.
I
I mean, there is
hopefully
a good reason to
We're
do it.
like
Like if they
yeah.
Hmm?
if there is another creature that can control them as easily as last time, then I'm pretty sure you would want to get rid of them before, like if they ever become a threat. Like if they were so susceptible to these sound waves, to to this manipulation, then you probably want to eliminate it before it ever becomes a threat again. I mean, they're like they're loose cannons. You can't just leave loose cannons out and about for anybody to just manipulate and use, because I mean they have the technology to do it again. They have the know-how to do it again. And if they really wanted to, they could do it again. I mean, it's stupid out of the way, but they would have done it again. Like if they knew they could get
yeah,
away with it. So might as well just delete the problem before it ever becomes a problem again. Right? Now, granted, this isn't framed that way. So it doesn't seem like it's that way. And that's
Right.
what it's kind of sneaky, almost dishonest that the narrative is trying to do this. It's dishonest that they're trying to do this because they're framing it as, oh, we're just having fun here. We're just having, loads and loads of fun. But no, that's not what's happening here. People are dying. The people are in need. Your people, like as a government organization that uses money that is not yours to fund operations that you don't need, you necessarily have to appeal to the demands of people. Now, what are these demands? Well, we don't actually see what the people think because we don't care what the people think, right? Oh, we're just here for the boom booms and the we're just
yeah.
here for all that. And all of that just gets lost in translation.
I don't even
Yeah.
know how to begin with this movie. It's like I was like, hey, we just had to accept a lot of shit. It's like Godzilla's not fighting.
Yeah, it's like Godzilla just like goes to like a nuclear plant in France, steals all of the radiation to power itself up, and you just kind of have to accept that.
Yeah, and also the fact, do you know how big Earth is? That's a thing. It's like they're literally just hoping Godzilla would just come to this country in time, just save it. It was like, what the fuck? You guys should have militaries and stuff. It's like, or another mega Godzilla.
The one redeeming quality,
Another Mecha Godzilla.
the one
Yeah.
redeeming quality that the scene had is that it happened in France, and we all hate France. So
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
anything bad that happens to France, I will accept.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I mean we can kind of
Yeah.
just keep
Fun
Godzilla
fact,
stuff
by
you
the
can just
way,
kind of like
that
streamline. Yeah.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Oh no, I
Yeah,
was gonna
he-
say that
yeah.
scene retroactively breaks GVK because okay, so you know how, I don't know if you remember this, you probably don't, and I wouldn't blame you if you didn't, but in GVK they went to the Hollow Earth to extract this energy source. Now, what this energy source is, it's essentially just radiation. All right. Now the issue with that though is that okay, they're sending radiation. Okay, they're going to the center of the Earth to extract radiation that a quote unquote evil tech organization uses to copy and paste it onto their giant robot.
Yeah. What?
Are you starting to see the problem?
Yeah. What's like, and also, do you know? I remember the last movie. It's like they were like they're evil because you see, we can't just rely on Godzilla to protect the Earth. We need their own mechanics in case other monsters attack. Was like, what the fuck? That's a good guy. What
Yeah,
the-
that is a good guy.
Yeah.
The thing though is that like they went to the Hollow Earth, got several hundreds of men killed in a boat battle that should not have happened, just to get radiation. Radiation, mind you, that could have been acquired in any other power plant
Yeah.
around the world.
It's what it's
So
like.
this pretty
Yeah.
much it confirms that okay, Godzilla can extract this radiation, and it's the exact same one from the Hollow Earth because it behaves the same way. So I ask, what was the point of that scene? Like the entire plot point is completely shattered because of this one scene of Godzilla eating radiation. Like it would have been just fine if he just stood there and just did it like a plant does, kind of like a photosynthesize. But no, it's just Godzilla standing near the plant, and the radiation is invisible. But no, they just have it behave like it does in the Hollow Earth, and by extension, it retroactively breaks that scene of GVK even further. Like GVK is an absolutely broken movie, but it didn't need any more breaking, and this movie did it. GXK did it.
Yeah, that's a.
I agree, Xenodrome.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, it's such a
Yeah,
weird franchise. It's
it's just a
a
lot.
lot.
Just look at the pretty lights. Look at the big monsters. Look
Yeah,
at the
and
action figures.
to be honest, I don't even remember the last movie. It's like I know
Oh
they
yeah,
just
look at the fights.
yeah they're like we
Yeah.
just
Look at the monster
down
fights. 15% of the movie.
yeah, and it's like they just like we just download stuff, download energy to another place, and and you could just upload energy from another to a Godzilla. I was like, what the fuck am I watching? That's the last movie. But it's like
Yeah,
at that yeah, it's like I mean to be honest, don't even need to call it radiation. They just need to call it like an optanium. You just fix the entire problem. Like one of the problems.
Unobtainium.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
meanwhile, speaking of our human characters, so Gia, the mute girl from the previous film, she is being raised by the scientist, Rebecca Hall's character, and like she's getting these psychic visions um, of basically there's something happening in Hollow Earth, and they need to figure out
I have
what's the problem.
something to say about that.
Yeah, yeah.
Are you gonna
Sorry to interrupt so much.
No, it's okay.
So this this girl basically is supposed to be the last of her kind. She was from the Iwi tribe. The Iwi tribe is a tribe that belonged to Skull Island. Now they were the last inhabitants of Skull Island. She died because of the storms there, and the implication there is that the Ghidorah storm from King of the Monsters merged with the perpetual storm system that was protecting Skull Island, and it started to permeate the entire island, causing it to be flooded. And well, not flooded, but it caused destruction. At least that's what it's implied. Now I don't know for a fact if that is the case, but the whole point of the scene is that there is a storm. The storm kills all the Iwis except for Gia, and Gia gets adopted by Eileen Andrews. Now
Hmm.
the whole we are later introduced, and forgive me for jumping the shark. We're introduced to the Iwis of the Hollow Earth. Now, then you
Yeah.
have to ask yourself, okay, well, which came first, the Iwis of the Hollow Earth or the Iwis of Skull Island? If it was the Iwis of Skull Island, then how did they get to the Hollow Earth? Because you need to go through a portal to get to the Hollow Earth. So how did they get there? And if it's the Iwis from the Hollow Earth, then you have to wonder, why did they ever number one, how did they get to the surface? And number two, why would they ever want to go up to the surface? Now, the obvious answer would probably be, and again, forgive me for jumping the shark, but Mothra is in this movie, and one can say, oh,
Oh yeah.
Mothra probably took them there. Number one, this is not established in the movie. The movie doesn't explain this in the slightest. Number two, even if that was the case, it still doesn't answer why, number one, the Iwis would leave the Hollow Earth. So, like again, like the safety of the Hollow Earth. If the Hollow Earth was not safe, then who put them there and why? If it
Yeah.
wasn't safe, and if it was safe, but then it became unsafe, and they had to do the pilgrimage to Skull Island, then again, who took them there? Mothra. How did they survive the trip? Because just because they're taken by Mothra to the Hollow Earth doesn't necessarily mean they're gonna survive. I mean, Gia in the movie survives the trip because of plot armor, but she should have died. She should have died. So everybody else should also have died as well.
And also the fact there's a fucking storm surrounding Skull Island. I was like, yeah, you sure?
Yeah.
We just kind of go back to just what the kid stuff. I mean, my first question is like, question is like, wait, wait, how does that work? It's like you just got brain power and just draw some stuff on the table.
Yeah, she's got like psychic powers.
Yeah, it's like,
and apparently. Then we learn later that all the Iwis have
she developed them because the plot needed them to be
they can
developed.
read minds.
Nothing that was established before, mind you. Like the Iwi are not known for being psychic. The Iwis are just Iwis. They just introduced that last minute because they wanted Mothra in the film. And the reason why they wanted Mothra in the film is because there was actually a new Titan that was supposed to be introduced called Phosphera, which was this sort of goat deer Titan with wings, angelic wings, and it looked like an angel, but it was also like a deer. And when they showed that when Warner Brothers showed the test footage to audiences, people were unhappy and they demanded to see Mothra. So they put in Mothra in the movie, and that's why we have that. Well, that's why she's in the movie.
I also feel like the whole
people
Mothra
didn't
thing
like
is
the
like,
Titan.
Yeah. I also feel like the Mothra thing is like there was a lot of memes about Godzilla v Kong because similarities with Batman v Superman. So like you need to save Mothra. So.
Yeah. It's I don't even know what it's so weird because she got killed off in like the king of the monsters, and there's like, hey, we just got resurrect you. It was like, wait, how the fuck do you do that? I was like, I don't know. I was like, it's a lot of bullshit. I'm just watching. Yeah, she just developed psychic powers and she just
this was something I read as well.
Yeah.
Just in case if Mothra doesn't work, because I think Mothra, the thing is they didn't have the rights initially, or there was some dispute or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no stakes in this movie.
I mean, yeah, it's like she just draw stuff on the table. It's like, oh, it's that accurate, and she just have pens. I was like, okay, like, wow. Imagine this happens like any other time in, like when she's asleep or something, and she doesn't have anything to draw it because she can't talk. Remember?
She'll like scratch blood.
Yeah. Yeah. I was like, wow.
Let's just up the horror stakes. I mean, this is a monster movie, right?
Yeah. To be honest, might as well do this. And not to mention that teachers like only stopped her after she finished like drawing like a dozen papers and a desk.
Yeah.
Also,
just keep dead characters dead.
It almost it reminded me of Brightburn. You know that scene in Brightburn where Brandon Breyer is scribbling on his notebook, and it's all just these apocalyptic scenes of him taking over the world, becoming evil Superman, and all. That's what it reminded me of.
Yeah,
Brightburn is an infinitely more enjoyable movie than this one, because this movie was just tedious. It was miserable. It was just miserable.
It's a drag.
It wasn't even funny bad. No, like there's only the one scene, but even then, that's not enough. It's like.
Yeah, I don't even know. Yeah. It's like, so yeah, that's a scene. It's like this entire scene just established the plot. I was like, what did they do with the characters? Like, I don't fucking know. Nothing.
Yeah. So we see that
in Mothra's
Irene
case, she's always had the ability of reincarnation, but this is just tacky. This is just tacky on their part. This is just key jangling, because they knew that if like the movie had so little substance that if they introduced a monster that everybody recognized and loved for some reason, I don't get the appeal of Mothra. I'm gonna be honest, I don't get it. She's a pretty moth. I've seen Mothra in several of Godzilla movies I've seen, like Godzilla versus Mothra. I remember seeing GMK at one point, but I have to rewatch it because I do not remember a single thing about GMK. But that movie had Mothra. Mothra is beloved because she is she is queen, and she's Godzilla's friendo, Godzilla's girlfriend, whatnot, and I don't get it. I don't get the appeal. I really don't see the appeal. She exists only to die and then be reborn. That's it. I mean, there could be more to her. Like, there's the twins that summon her, because there's like these dwarf twins that always summon her in the old Japanese movies. But they're just kind of there. They just kind of speak for Mothra. They're the voice of Mothra, kind of, sort of, and she's always the nice protector of humanity, always trying to calm Godzilla down, trying to calm her hubby down. Okay.
Fanshipping monsters is crazy word.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
nothing God would approve of. That's for damn sure.
Yeah, by the way, I think this movie attempts more substance than Godzilla versus Kong, because Rebecca Hall, they actually try. They tried with Rebecca Hall and the kid relationship.
Yeah,
they tried this time.
She adopts her after that movie. They've been together for 3 years.
Yeah.
So there's something there. Learn sign language and all that.
They tried and they failed.
Yeah,
I will say that they failed.
It's not just.
And then Rebecca Hall apparently has a relationship with Trapper. At first, I thought Trapper was like in a previous movie, but I guess not. This is his only appearance.
Yeah, I was like, they tried with it. It's like I know the dialogue.
They bring back Brian Tyler Henry, who's a conspiracy podcaster. I don't know what the point of a conspiracy podcaster is when this world already knows all the monsters, like it's a normal thing. So
no. The reason why the conspiracy even exists, and sorry to interrupt. The reason why it exists is because Bernie worked for Apex from Godzilla versus Kong, and he wanted to expose the conspiracy that Apex was building a Mechagodzilla. Now, the reason why this doesn't work is because, number one, building a Mechagodzilla is a good thing. It should not be an immoral thing to decide, you know what, I'm not going to allow these monsters to dictate my fate. I'm not going to leave my fate in the hands of giant uncaring monsters. I'm going to protect humanity from these monsters, and I'm going to create a monster of my own, essentially just going the Pacific Rim route. Because we call the Jaegers in Pacific Rim heroes for doing this, but we call Walter Simmons and GVK a villain for doing the same thing. Seriously.
Yeah.
And now his mistake, what made the plan stupid in the first place, was using the severed head of Ghidorah. Now, just one head is, it would have been fine if they just used the one head, because it was decapitated in in Godzilla King of the Monsters. And so that would have made sense, but he has all three heads somehow, even though they were obliterated. I don't know where he got that from.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that was a good plan. So it's not really much of a conspiracy, especially when Walter Simmons has been public about his intentions. He said, "We have a solution for Godzilla prepared. Just you wait." That's not a conspiracy. That's just the CEO not revealing their plans too early. But it's not a conspiracy. They're going to reveal. They not only are they going to reveal to the public, but they're already revealing certain details to the public. They're revealing that they have a plan to stop Godzilla once and for all. People should be rejoicing at that someone is finally doing something in regards to the Titans, right?
Yeah.
But no, so again, the only reason why Bernie exists in GVK is to tell people that Mechagodzilla is in this movie. That's his only reason for existing. That's it. Just to tell us that the evil corporate guy is evil and that Mechagodzilla exists. That's his own. Beyond that, he has no purpose. He should have died.
Yeah, it's just like Batman v Superman with Doomsday. They got to team up to beat that guy. Batman v Superman is a huge conversation for another day. But yeah. Another good point from the comments is it's just kind of it's just Transformers all over again
Yeah, it's
with the Megatron.
yeah. To be honest, I don't even know how a lot of it. How does a lot of it even works? Like, yeah, the head would just control the fucking monster. It's like, what? Wait, what? Is that how it works? I don't know. I don't think so. Yeah, it's just a lot of bullshit. It's like, to be honest, even the bad guy, the quote unquote bad guy of that film is the only character that gave a shit in that film. Yeah, and I
don't
went,
think about it. It's just fiction. No.
yeah. Don't
so,
think about it.
So yeah, Kong
Yeah.
comes back to the surface to get his tooth fixed.
By the
He
way,
gets a full platinum sized tooth.
yeah,
I don't know how that just happened, but all right. But
yeah,
he gets his new tooth, and they go into Hollow Earth because apparently there was a distress signal there, and they need to figure out
By
what
the
was
way,
before.
yeah,
And yeah,
it's so bullshit because they were like, the kid was like, oh fuck, you know what the kid draw, the exact same signal wave of the
seismic.
yeah. I was like, how does
signals,
that
yeah.
work? I was like, the Hollow Earth people even know
I
technology
wonder what that
exists.
could mean.
Yay!
Yeah, but then she has like psionic abilities apparently, so
Yeah, it's of
I
course like
guess.
yeah, I guess. I mean, it's like a lot of it just kind of happens at random. The only thing they try to do is like Rebecca who cares about a kid. Like, so my question is,
No, even the. Are you gonna say something?
yeah. So why didn't they bring an army to Hollow Earth? So if you want to protect the
Because then that would be
kid,
smart, and we can have that.
yeah. Like,
Yeah, so instead they bring an old man, a scientist, her mute daughter, Trapper, and Discount Alex Jones, and they go into Hollow Earth,
yeah.
and then like so I thought like Kong and those guys would be together, but no, they just ended up splitting up to their own adventures. Kong is like goes further down another rift, and apparently he finds all these other monkeys, including a kid. And then there's a fight scene. It's really funny. I will give it that. When he takes the kid by the ankle and uses him as a battle axe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's funny, and then the kid was like, "Oh fuck, I'm gonna trust
That
you
was
for the entire
unironically the
movie."
best part of the movie. I mean, it's funny too because like he should have died. Like he's hitting the other Kongs with Zuko like with the exact same force.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
It's just
he's
one of
hitting.
those
Not only
things,
is he
like,
hitting them with
yeah.
the same force, not only is he hitting them with the same exact force he's exerting, but also he's hitting them with so much force that they're getting knocked off of the ground. So if you're hitting someone with enough force to knock them off of the ground, then and on top of the fact that you are the person that is being thrown against their will to hit these people, you're dead. You're dead. Zuko is dead. Kong killed Zuko, which based he was annoying.
Yeah.
I
It's
wish he stayed dead, but
hope
no.
if only it's like
They thought
I
they
mean,
were Kratos and Atreides. So
yeah. By the way, it's like after
you can
doing
definitely
this,
see the
Atreides, don't you
influences.
dare
Yeah.
besmirch my misogyny.
Yeah.
By the way,
You
it's like
could tell that there was a little bit of influences from that, with how they were going about it.
yeah, it's so weird. It's like, by the way,
Including
if
like
they
the one part where Kong has like this interaction with a Kratos looking Kong, and then he falls off the cliff. Kong tries to pick him up, and then once he does that, the Kratos Kong, he tries to hit him again, and then Kong just kicks him off, not saving him this time. Yeah, it's, you know,
yeah,
some okay action scenes.
yeah, I just have problems afterwards when the kid was like, yeah, the kid just turned sides to King to Kong.
Also regarding that scene in particular, so the implication behind that is that the Kongs are being enslaved, and the Scar King is the one that's enslaving them. Now, slavery in the animal kingdom is not a uncommon thing. The issue here, however, is what are they doing? They're moving rocks. They're moving rocks from one place to another. What for? Because like slave owners have slaves for a reason. They don't just have them to abuse. So no, so like they're moving rocks to for what they. I mean, they already have buildings that the Kongs have built. So I don't think like what else is there left to build with hundreds of thousands of years that the Scar King has been stuck in the Hollow Earth. You would think that he would be building something super duper interesting for him to escape, right? No, no. Like with the slaves, no, they're just moving rocks. They're just moving rocks, and there is nothing to come of it. On top of the fact that there is an exit to the to the Scar Kingdom, so that all the Kongs can just leave whenever they want, and by the end of the movie, they do, and they don't do it here because
Yeah,
reasons.
I
Oh, he
don't
was a
even.
And the
slave.
other
And
thing
also,
too is like you have this whole aspect about like Skull Island, and that's like Kong being the last Kong and all that.
yeah,
Then like this movie has both that. Oh, he's actually not the last Kong. There's a huge society of them. Or same
dude,
thing with the Iwi as well. She was the last one. Guess not. They were in Hollow Earth this entire time,
yeah.
and
It's
there's not really any of those connections with those two either.
no
But
fuck
I mean,
that.
I was not going to expect any kind of subtext in this movie.
Yeah, there's like everything is just the most on your face shit ever. It's like, by the way, like, do you
Funny
guys realize?
story. The Scar King also has sex slaves, which, I mean, in the animal kingdom, chimpanzees have harems. This is true, but I mean, the CGI. This is more like this isn't a problem with the writing, but like the CGI is just so ugly that I couldn't tell them apart in my first viewing. I had to really look for them before I could like realize, oh, so they are there. I ended up making myself look like a fool on Twitter because of it. But like the CGI was just so bad, I couldn't tell them apart. Someone had to tell me, oh yeah, here they are. They're kind of hard to they're kind of easy to miss, but they're there. They're holding
Yeah,
babies. Like, how could anybody interpret that as just a harem when they all look the same? I
yeah.
thought they were just dude Kongs.
I
Yeah.
this yeah. I was like, we just gotta skip a lot because there's just nothing. I just gotta say this. Why the fuck did the Scar King only attack Kong now? Like, you have fucking years to do that?
It's just because Kong
Oh
went.
no, he wasn't looking for Kong in particular. That's why.
Kong was looking for them.
That's
So it's like,
Godzilla's thing. Godzilla's the one that. Well, I mean, he doesn't. Okay, so in GVK, he looks for Kong as soon as he leaves his habitat, which I mean, he's not really a threat to Godzilla. Kong is not never has been a threat, but the thing though is right that the movie needed to happen, so they had to create some BS explanation as to why that is. Now, as for the Scar King just sees a random intruder just show up and start messing things around for no reason. He's like, "Oh, look at this outworlder. Who does he think he is?" So like
Yeah, it's like,
that's why Scar King. I
yeah,
mean,
you got
it's a pretty good reason as far as reasons go, but you know, it's not that it's pretty hollow.
you
yeah,
got
it's like,
two memes out of it where one of the subordinates like is yelling at Kong for like pushing him around, and then Kong punches him out. That was a funny meme. And then another
yeah,
one where the Scar King is like, this brother thought he was one of us, and like all them laughing, while pointing at him. These are funny
yeah,
memes. I've seen them a lot on Twitter.
yeah. It's
Um,
yeah. By the
that's
way,
kind of
they
my
just all
thing.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It's I don't even know what to say about it. It's like Kong only discovered this crack in the place just now. Was like, fuck yeah, I don't even know what are you doing for 3 years, Kong? It's a lot of things. Just like there's no dialogue in anything in the Kong scene. You just have to like, oh, so that's it. Oh, okay.
Oh,
Yeah,
they
this,
weren't supposed to have dialogue. That was just trying to him, Adam Wingard trying to do visual storytelling, kind of like how Primal does it. And I mean, I would argue that those scenes were probably the best in the movie because not like it definitely was the least damaging. So like comparatively speaking, they were the best, but not by much. You know, by a
yeah.
very
Yeah.
slim super
I-
slim margin.
I'd
They
also
were the
agree.
best, not out of anything, like
I'd
not on
also agree
any
because
merit of its. Well, I
that's
mean,
kind of
merit of its own,
where the
but at the same time,
names come from as well as from Kong.
yeah.
So I can appreciate it for that level, on such a superficial level. Can't say the same for Godzilla, which he's fighting like some kind of giant snake thing, um, and then
Oh,
he's
Tiamat. Yeah,
Tiamat, yeah,
that's his name.
Yeah, and then he just.
Yeah.
But
and then he just like stays in the Arctic, absorbing more radiation, essentially.
yeah. There's just nothing. It's like. By the way, do you remember? It's like I don't even know. Did we get to the ice scene yet?
I think I'm at that point now.
Yeah. By the way, because the explanation kind of baffles me. There's like Godzilla needs to get radiation sun because
There's a threat coming, and he doesn't know what it is yet, but
Yeah.
he's
That's
yeah.
yeah.
And they are like they have the biggest energy source in the world because
As
they
for
have
that
technology.
transformation scene and the fight as well with Tiamat, that scene in particular. Funny story about Tiamat. Tiamat is actually oh
Yeah.
Tiamat is actually from the graphic novels of the MonsterVerse.
Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Tiamat is also the name of the Eternal from Eternals that's coming
Yeah.
out of the earth and hasn't been solved yet.
Yeah, it's like so fucking ridiculous because like do you remember the scientific explanation they try to do with that? It's like, oh, you see this alien thing.
Tiamat
Yeah,
is
Tiamat.
a fan favorite among the fan base,
Yeah,
and
it's like
I actually wanted to see this monster in action. They just one shot her. Like
yeah,
Tiamat is just minding her business, and then Godzilla shows up and starts attacking for no reason, and then Tiamat is forced to attack, and then Godzilla just shows up, and then Tiamat rightfully starts attacking Godzilla, and then Godzilla's like,
yeah,
"Oh no, all right, you're gonna die now," and then just kills
yeah,
Tiamat, just one
yeah.
shots,
They
and
just like fucking. It's fucking
That's
insane
this
funny.
because
this is
they said this thing has the biggest energy source in the world because like it absorbs like sun radiation thing. What the? It's like at this point I was like, wait, how does that work? You're living on in ice, and you can absorb like sun radiation, solar flare thing right there.
And
I was like,
Godzilla just knew this was out in the Arctic.
yeah, exactly. Like
yeah,
you're living underwater. How are you getting the solar radiation if you live underwater?
yeah, and that's not saying that.
Like that
And
would make sense for like any other Titan except Tiamat. But you know why they did that? You want to know why they did that?
yeah,
Because I'll tell you why they did that. They did that to have an excuse to have Godzilla power up in some capacity to justify his evolution. It doesn't work, but that's
yeah,
what the intention was.
yeah,
And it's
like,
also like in a location that
It's
doesn't kill a
necessary.
bunch of people.
yeah,
Yeah.
and they said this is the biggest energy source on Earth. I was like, what the fuck? People should be people should be getting this monster as soon as possible. Do you know how fucking good that is? It's like you guys should be studying this shit. Like
Yeah, and that's how it goes from its blue fire
That is
to
their job. That is the
magenta.
job of Monarch to study them. And Monarch has studied Tiamat, but the thing is that we don't actually see that in the movies because the writers don't bother trying to turn the graphic novels into movies. And I always said, instead of wasting money on graphic novels that only like 5 people are going to read, why don't you just make the graphic novels into movies? Maybe just do that. Because you already introduced a bunch of cool monsters. So like why don't you just go and stick with that as opposed to just wasting money on comics that not a lot of people are going to read?
yeah, I don't even want to say what's like biggest energy source on Earth basically means this thing has more energy than Godzilla, and Godzilla somehow one shots it. By the way, look,
Godzilla is very selfish in these last 2 movies, which doesn't really match the superhero angle, dude. That's why it's always so weird to me. It's like Godzilla's treated like a superhero in this universe.
yeah, it's so weird.
Godzilla
And
being a superhero, it just doesn't work.
it doesn't make any sense, but just have a run with this. Apparently.
Yeah,
I
like
just watched. I just
Godzilla
watched
is
minus
about
one
as good of a
earlier
superhero as
today.
Superman and Man of Steel.
Hey, yeah. It's and to be honest, I don't even realize there's a lot to say for just one scene alone.
There's a lot to say, but there also isn't a lot to say, which is
Yeah.
that's kind of the difficulty with this movie. Or at least the way that I'm trying to analyze this movie. Because like, yeah, you have Godzilla absorb the cosmic radiation, and then it just kind of sits there for a while, and then eventually it turns from blue to magenta, like how
Yeah.
it is right now.
Apparently it's like Kyle
And
Can something.
yeah, it's got a new color.
Yeah,
And then
like,
meanwhile
And it
the
doesn't
humans,
do any more damage than the original.
yeah, that too.
that too. I was like, you should have got that energy source already. I'm
They
sorry.
just needed a new design for the toys.
Yep, and they were like, because Godzilla can apparently
Yeah,
sense
that's pretty much
monsters.
it. That's the only reason why they have it.
Yeah, it is like if this the biggest bad energy
The
source.
director said it himself. That's really the only reason.
Yeah, I was like, you could just go with burning Godzilla again or something.
Yeah, it's just like
It's
the
so
neon
vapid
colors.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Yeah, and speaking of new toys, before we get to that, the humans, their subplot basically is that there was this damage at this outpost here in Hollow Earth. It was done by a different Kong. They don't know who it was at this point. That doesn't really get resolved, because it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, they just here to just like here's like inventing gauntlet at the end. That's it.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's
And then
by the way,
they also go south, and then they find like this bioelectric field,
to be honest
after,
with yeah,
and then apparently this is like a gateway to where all the iwi people are just like hanging out.
but yeah, it's a lot of bullshit. I don't even know. It's like, okay, let's just start with like, why is there only one building of the entire Hollow Earth ship? It's like there should be a fucking army protecting it. Because it's constantly being run by monsters.
By the way, regarding that scene you just mentioned, regarding the camera and that scene.
Yeah, I could believe that.
Yeah, I saw it.
Oh yeah, I'm not sure how to pronounce it. It's like IWI, so I say iwi, Iowa.
That's how it's pronounced. Yeah.
Iowa.
Okay.
Okay.
I see.
Yeah. But before you continue, by the way, I wanted to mention this particular scene. So the scene with the camera and the equipment and everything being destroyed. So Dr. Eileen Andrews tells Trapper to stop making fun of the dead people there because those people had families, and that just felt like a tremendous slap in the face because two of the most unimportant people in an expedition nobody should have gone in the outskirts of your comms reach that should not have been there so far away because these people were stationed very far away from the comms reach, which why would they set it up there? Why not literally anywhere else within reach of communications? But anyway, this needs to happen because they need to lose communication so that we could have our drama. But yeah,
Wasn't there a distress call? Wasn't there like a distress call? It's like if anything happens, just like, okay, here's a button, go. Like that, I think that's standard protocol for any military operations. That is like
it is standard protocol. You would think that, wouldn't you?
At that point, yeah. At this point in the movie, like I noticed that the old man was
that
gone.
scene
It's
in
like, oh, what
particular
happened to the
felt
old
like a
man?
slap
Oh,
in
he
the face.
died.
Oh, like now you care about the people that die right now, not the billions of people that died in 2014 and in 2019 and 2020 and 2024. Not then, not the hundreds of thousands of people that died then. No, now you care. Now you have you ape sympathy. Now you decide that these lives are important. Uh-huh.
It's
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Eileen Andrews is a horrible person. She's a horrible mother, horrible scientist. Yeah.
And my
No.
my next question is like, oh fuck, they have families. It's like, my question is, what do you get people who have families here? Sorry, I'm not really that good when it comes to military, but it's like for me, if you got bring people to Hollow Earth to study like this place, what do you find people who has like no relationship connections just in because it's the most risky shit you will ever do, just in case their family would just like won't be sad. It's not like you're running out of people. You have
Wouldn't it be better to
thousands.
just volunteer at that point?
Yeah,
Like
Yeah.
if you volunteer, then at that point, like all the liability falls on the people that signed the contract, as
yeah,
opposed to like the military.
yeah.
But we
It's
need the podcaster because he was in previous movies. So
yeah to be
Oh
it's so
yeah.
weird. This character from
He doesn't have a
Canada.
family, so he can.
He can do that. Yeah,
You can,
it's
but
like
yeah,
yeah,
they opened
you
the
can do
bio.
that with him. He doesn't have. A family.
yeah. By the way,
Yeah.
by the way, do you skip the part that they kill off the old guy, the old dude?
Yeah, I asked Unity. It's like, what happened to the old guy? Oh, he died. It's like I didn't even notice.
It's so
Yeah,
it's so scary.
he got eaten. Yeah. I
Yeah.
find it funny that in these stories the smart characters die and the stupid characters get to live long, and it's very
That
telling
it,
of
it's a
what the
very
Yeah.
common
priorities of the
trope. Yeah.
writers are. They're pretty much no, it's also very meta, especially with the writers, because they're essentially telling you, if you use your brain, it's bad. It is
Yeah.
bad if you use your brain. It's bad. Just sit and enjoy it. Just
Yeah.
sit, consume product, and get excited for next product.
Yeah. I'll just
The
go with some
monkey and the giant
Yeah.
lizard are running. Please
Yay!
laugh.
Yeah, please laugh. Yeah, I was
I
just gonna give you.
clapped when
Yeah,
the
clap.
lizard punched the monkey. I clapped.
Yeah, it's so funny, right? It's so funny. Fuck off. Yeah, we're just gonna give you some context of this scene. So Dan Stevens is like, fuck, we should do this, and the military guy with the machine gun said, no, listen to me. I was like, because I have experience. I know how to command
Yeah,
people,
no rhyme, no reason, just
and just like
autism.
I should be in charge because but yeah, of course he should be in charge. Instead of this hippie guy who just like
Need to have
yeah,
story.
yeah. But so it was like they try to make him like evil people, like kind of rude. Was like no, when all I think of is well yeah that's the best solution, and then he got eaten by a flower. Like, what the?
Yeah, I legitimately don't remember
The
that
most
at
logical
all.
person dies. Rest in peace. Like not only do they get bullied in these movies, they also like in the previous one, it was just they're getting bullied, which is very mean spirited, but fine. Now they're dying. Like okay, now we're really getting serious. Now things are really starting to kick up a notch. So yeah, no, that's very telling of the priorities that Adam
Yeah.
Wingard had in this movie.
But yeah,
Yeah. By the way, yeah.
so they open this bioelectric
By the
field.
way, I just gotta say this. Just
Yeah.
sorry. It's like there's like two things I want to mention. It's bullshit. So they set up the fact this forest has like eating flowers, like and it's alive and there's like it just and then it's like and it never comes up again. It's just like oh yeah, we're just gonna walk through it, pretend nothing happens. It's like what the fuck? You guys should be prepared and you guys like should be like you guys should be running the other direction, find another way. They're just like, yeah, let's walk through it, and no eating flowers appear again.
Oh
But
yeah, no,
what-
because they wanted to get rid of the evil smart character, so that all the good dumb characters could live. That's why.
Yeah, it's like I mean, the most logical way is just like for him to just like, oh fuck, run! There's a Kong here. Run! I'll buy you some time. Like like I mean, at least
Yeah.
I would do that if you want to kill a character and add tension. It's like and the second thing is, do you guys know how do you find the portal, the door?
Oh yeah, who's gonna take you back to the surface world now that your pilot is dead? He's your pilot. Now he's dead.
Yeah. No, it
Yeah.
You were
turns out
making fun
Trapper
of
can-
him. You were
turns out
wasting
Trapper can
time,
fly.
and now he's dead because of you. The blood of this man's life is on your hands. How are you gonna get back home?
Trapper can fly too. He's discount Star Lord.
Stupid.
So stupid. It's so it's like. And by the way, they don't pick up their the military's gun. Actually, why didn't anyone has a gun aside from that guy?
They come in peace. So yeah.
Because reasons.
Yeah, yeah. And do you know how they find the door? It's so stupid.
So basically,
They
Gia is like kind of like feeling around, and then apparently there's like this button, and then presses the button, and then it opens this bioelectric door.
No, it's even worse because there's a firefly just goes to the button and they're just like, yeah, that's where it is.
Yeah.
That's writing. You just instead of like they're scientists. Let's just like solve some mystery like Indiana Jones. They're just like here's powers and there's a fly there. Let's press it. Like
Pilot's hypothetical family.
yeah, it's like
Yeah. So they go in.
like their family. His didn't matter, right?
Right.
yeah. I mean, it's like this movie has a lot. It has a lot of bullshit, but just like what do we even have to talk about?
Yeah, so they go in, the tribe, they're like, well, they don't talk at all, so like everything is done like telepathically, I guess. Andrews, she's like realizing that Gia is like related to these people, and then it turns out that Gia apparently is the
I mean, it should have been obvious from the very beginning.
but it's like, but apparently Gia is like the key to all this. She's like the prophecy to bringing back Mothra. So she's Monster
the key to
Jesus.
everything. It's that stupid trope again.
Yeah, she's Monster Jesus.
She's
she
the
even
girl
gets, like,
that's the key to everything.
She gets like a golden glow too. Whenever she's using like divine monster talking powers.
Yeah, it's like I don't even know what to say about this. Like,
and then and then eventually the plots they start to converge because like while this is happening, Kong is fighting Scar King's like he has his own like ice breathing Godzilla kind of thing. Like Shino, I think. Shimo, something like that.
I don't even know what to say about this at this point. It's like, here's by the way, they didn't pull the thing from like another cave or something. It's actually in broad daylight. It's like it's just in the open, and the thing just and they never notice it, and the Godzilla thing never. It's like, actually, I don't even know what to say about this. Like, what the fuck do you even put this thing in the open instead of just lock it out? Just in case anything happened.
Pretty sure there was another Godzilla movie that had the female character who was the key to saving the whole world the whole time. Like the necklace and
by the way, Shimo in this movie.
Shimo, yeah.
It'll behoove you to know that Shimo in this she is treated like a dog, essentially. Now in the Call of Duty event, crossover event with the MonsterVerse, it was teased that this Titan was the god of all Titans. Now, this isn't something in canon to the film, but it did create anticipation because you were wondering, oh, an interesting and new villain that's supposed to be like the very first Titan, the god of all Titans. No such treatment for this
Oh,
character,
she was
and
treated like a
it
dog.
gets treated like a dog. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just a giant ice dog.
Yeah, it's like, and
There's
that's
nothing to Shimo. She just exists in the vacuum.
it's like,
She
and the,
just breathes ice powers. That's
yeah, it's like,
cool.
go. And by the way,
Literally.
yeah, it's like, and Scar.
Yippee.
Yeah, do you know how Scar can control it? Because they have the spike thing that he uses as a whip. Was like, what would you use that as a whip? What the fuck?
Because
You
it's
should.
cool.
Yeah. Oh, instead of because
See the monkey man ride on the lizard. That's
yeah,
not a sex joke, by the way.
yeah.
The issue isn't really that he's using. The issue isn't really that he's using the whip as much as he is that he has the crystal that controls Shimo in the whip. It would make a lot more sense to
Yeah.
have the crystal controlling Shimo somewhere safe, like I don't know, like his butt crack or something. I don't know. I don't know what orangutans do. But
Yeah.
no, and you see the reason
He's using
why
that
he
crystal as
keeps
the
it
weapon.
there.
Yeah.
So that the reason why he
Yeah.
keeps the crystal there is so that in the future the plot will demand Godzilla and Kong to break that part of the whip, because if they break that part of the whip, then the crystal will fall off and they can break it, and therefore the movie can end. Because if
Yeah.
Scar King was smart about how he placed the crystal, then Godzilla and Kong would be toast. And we can't have that. We can't have our heroes lose in a movie with them as the title characters. Oh no.
Yeah. That's what my thought is like. Fuck. They just the Scar King just has the weakness just out in the open.
Yeah.
Just like if you
Yeah.
yeah that's
Strategic genius, everybody.
yeah really
Yeah. So Shimo, something happens to the benefit of, like, yeah, it should have happened a while ago. Is that Shimo pretty much ices Kong's hand to the point where it gets frostbite, and broke the axe. He had to run off, and then he was getting cornered, but then apparently Suko drops like a bunch of boulders on the Kong so that he can get away. So yeah, the whole father son thing is now a thing. I hope it was earned for you guys.
no fuck off. This kid should be hating Kong Scar because he uses the kid he uses you as a weapon to just hit other Kongs.
It's so funny. Yeah, and then this is how the plots converge, is where Kong just like he needs to pass out somewhere where it just so happens to be where the humans are. And
No, really, because what I thought is they have a
I-
teleporter.
Don't know what to say about that scene.
yeah, and then Trapper's like, I got this. Then he goes back to the wrecked up place, and then he pretty much makes a giant robotic hand for Kong. How does he do that? I have no
Oh
idea.
no. He doesn't make it. He doesn't make it for Kong. What happened was that apparently they built a giant robotic arm for Kong, like in between movies. That is what happened. Now, the reason why they did that is because reasons.
Yeah,
That's
It just happens out of
and so
nowhere.
the government apparently pulled the funding just as the project was finished, so they had it up and ready whenever they needed. And how convenient that power glove not only was built specifically for that hand, but it also had the ability to cure frostbite that Shimo gave him, which the levels of convenience, like it's literally just a video game power up. That's what the power glove is. It's a video game power up. And
yeah,
on top of that, like imagine if Kong got frostbite in a different arm, he's screwed. Or imagine if he
Oh,
got it
yeah.
in literally any other part of the body, and it was just the arm would be useless.
Yeah, but
And
Yeah,
then
imagine if they built a different contraption.
yeah, and speaking of new toys,
but
Godzilla has a new toy, so now King Kong has a new toy as
by
well.
the way, do
So
you remember like the Kong just destroyed the entire facility? They somehow missed the
That's
giant the
literally the
place.
only reason why it exists.
Yeah, they missed the gauntlets for some reason,
yeah,
which is
and
yeah.
we did miss the part where where the kid and Kong they're going to a river, and then Kid Kong is like trying to basically trick Big Kong to be attacked by a sea monster, which it does, but then Kong kills it, and then eventually there's this connection. So I guess like Operation is asking, in that scene, the intent was for Mini Kong to have him be killed by it, which I could definitely see that, and then it just looks like he was scared of it. I don't know, because like the way that because it looks like Kid Kong knew that the monster was there, and then he runs off once because he's also looking like suspiciously at Kong. I don't know, like I felt like he was trying to get Kong killed by the sea monster.
By the way, it's I
He
just
was
And
don't.
that's
definitely trying to get
Yeah,
Kong killed. That's the whole thing. He is supposed to be this lackey. He's kind of like Gollum in a sense. I got got a lot of Gollum vibes from Suko, and because he does not only does he attack him and lure him to the rest of the other Kongs when they first meet, he's also trying to kill him. So he's still at this point doing the Scar King's bidding. Now, for someone that's being abused, he is not only very compliant, but he's also very creative with how he tries to. Hell, he's doing Scar King's bidding before Scar King even knows who before Scar King even learns who Kong is.
right.
So
yeah,
this is not the behavior of someone who's abused by you know
Like this is his
a
free will, yeah.
tyrant.
yeah. It's like by the way, do you
Yeah,
notice
this is
they?
not the behavior of someone who's abused.
By the way, do you realize that when the fucking I don't even remember the kid the small monkey runs away, the Kong basically just throws the head next to him, pinpoint accuracy and the axe, and he just basically teleports to him. I was like,
Oh
wow, that
yeah,
was fine.
which is another
That's
meme
fine.
that
That
I've
was
seen. Yeah,
Yeah, no,
I mean,
that's
yeah,
fine.
that was fine. There's
And
nothing inherently wrong with that. I mean,
yeah,
it was a scene for comedy purely. I mean, the scenes again, like the scenes with Kong and the other apes are probably the least damaging. In fact, but the thing is that it plays out like a cartoon. It plays like less like a movie and more as just a cartoon.
yeah,
yeah,
Which is,
uh,
which is ironic because again, like the Scar King has sex slaves, which is not something you would associate with a cartoon made for kids. Like you would say, "Oh, this is just a movie about giant monsters intended for children." Well, why does it have sex slaves? Oh, it's right. It's
yeah,
because you're trying to prop up as the Scar King as like the big bad, but nothing comes of it. Not only does Kong not acknowledge that these are
yeah.
that there's it's a harem. I don't think he's ever seen a harem, so there's like
But
no frame of reference to
right.
for that because
I
this is all new to Kong. I don't think Kong even knows what a harem is because he's never really met anyone of his kind because the whole implication was that he is the last of his kind. But like
but
there's like you would think that there would be some message regarding like slavery and freeing slaves, but Kong has no concept of this. He just sees people. He just sees the Kongs
Yeah,
that they're sad around Scar King. Then he gets angry because he's making them sad. So he
yeah,
kills
and then
like
like especially
everything that could be
yeah,
interpreted as slavery and anything that could be extrapolated as a theme of slavery and freeing the slaves. That is like headcanon purely. That is
yeah,
purely headcanon because Kong doesn't really acknowledge the slaves as slaves because he doesn't know what that is. And like there is absolutely no reason why he should know what that is. He hasn't met he doesn't know what he hasn't seen slavery until now. He doesn't know what it looks like. So how could he point at that and call it slavery? And how could he treat it as such if he's never encountered it? That's the
by the
thing.
yeah,
He
way,
doesn't.
yeah,
I,
yeah.
it's
It's more like he's definitely like mad that like somebody is like yelling at another person that is doing work or another monkey that's doing work. I guess like it's from that inherent like you don't want to see somebody feelings mad or sad about that kind of thing. It's like I could understand it for that simplistic point of view. And then obviously like with how this movie ends with
Yeah, like
how
an intimidation display. Like these people
right.
who are really weaker are being intimidated
Yeah.
for no reason. It's essentially like a bully. Like what Kong sees
Yeah,
is a
yeah.
bully, not a slave owner.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's but
And
by
it's
the
like
way, this
I feel like how this movie ends as well is like it pretty much has Kong basically taking up the next ruler for this area, and it's like you would assume that in the next movie, whatever that
Yeah,
is
they don't
like he
leave. They
treats
don't
him
leave.
better. Yeah,
yeah.
and none of them run off either way either.
By the
So
way, I just
they're
realized
definitely
like
conditioned to stay.
by the way, do you remember like the last movie, Godzilla versus Kong? They just said it was like the storm just closes in, kills every species of the Death Kid, and the Death Kid is the only one that survived, and the only person that survives is also the chosen one. Wow, the odds of that shit was like you just made it even more contrived.
Interesting.
Yeah, I just realized that.
Yeah, and like again, these like Kong and
You
Geo
need to
both
have these things
basically
play out in
both.
that specific way, otherwise the movie can't happen. But who cares? It's a movie about monsters intended for children.
Yay!
But it's also deep. It's also
Kong
super
is
deep.
freed us, so I wouldn't say freed, more like under new management.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I
Oh
thought.
yeah.
Oh god, it's like, what even happened afterwards? The
Kong went from an allegory of American slave trade to a monkey Moses. What do they mean by this?
Yeah. Also, might I mention?
yeah.
Yeah.
By the way, this is reaching like the climax of like the fight in the Hollow Earth where Godzilla, arrives in Egypt because Kong leaves the Hollow Earth to try and lure Godzilla into the Hollow Earth, but then Godzilla goes up after Kong. Godzilla, like over time, he went from the protector of nature to just a douchebag where he's just attacking people for no reason. But at the
Yeah.
same time, it's kind of like the implication that I said that he doesn't trust Titans anymore. But they're not doing that. That's pretty much my interpretation to make it a lot more logical. I mean, I don't like it, but it's probably the more logical one. I would prefer it if the Titans provoked any sort of attacks, but no, that's not what's happening here. Godzilla's just
But
an asshole.
yeah, by the way,
But
yeah,
yeah, Godzilla goes after Kong.
I just want to say, I was like, do you know, was like,
Yeah,
how the
Godzilla goes
fuck?
after Kong.
Yeah, it's like Kong is in Egypt and Godzilla is like on the other side of Earth. He just arrived in like what, a few minutes? They just teleport. What the
Yeah, he
fuck?
went from Antarctica to Egypt in just a matter of hours.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
because
That's what.
that's like, wow, how fast are you? Because they just, I don't know what to say about
Oh,
it.
we
Just,
see how fast
It's
they are
very
in that
stupid.
in the scene that's in the trailer.
Yeah.
Godzilla attacks Kong. Yeah, he attacks Kong, and according to the leaks, apparently Kong won. But like when I saw the movie, I was like, no, Godzilla beat him. Godzilla, he won. And
Yeah.
Mothra shows up to diffuse the tension. It's pretty much the calm your cocks type. It's that meme. It's that meme. It's calm your cocks, and then Godzilla gushes over his mommy coming back, and
Yay! Remember the thing
yeah.
from King of Monsters? I wish I forgot.
You remember this is like member berries. This is member berries.
Oh my, I don't
That's
even.
what that is. It's member berries.
Yeah, so Gia talks to the Mothra that explains to Godzilla, Kong is like a good guy. Like he needs your help.
Yeah, they go to the Hollow Earth.
Yeah, I was like, no.
Oh. Also, I just remembered something. Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah.
Yeah, my bad. So, I don't know if it's because I can't hear the call very well, but I don't know if you're saying anything or not. But I just remembered something. So in the Iwi temple, there was this hall that had a bunch of portals from the Hollow Earth to the rest of the world, different areas
Right.
of the world. Funny thing about that, there's it also connected in some way, shape, or form to these crystals that manipulate gravity. Now, you may be asking, why are these Hollow Earth portals there? I'll answer that question. The reason why they're there is because number one, we need to have a way for Godzilla and Kong to leave the Hollow Earth so that they can continue the fight and destroy more national monuments. Number two, the reason why the pyramids exist is so that we could have our un, zero gravity Hollow Earth fight between Godzilla and Kong and Mothra and Suko and the other apes, which Suko just turns against them like on a whim. He sees like Kong is hurt, and then just what prompted this change? Well, I mean, one
He
of the
gave him a
guards
piece of
pushing
the monster.
Star King.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he gives him food. That
he gave him
Scar King
food.
pushes like. Oh yeah, yeah. No, no. Also that
And then
what's his
Scar
name?
King
The
also
Scar
pushes
King
him
killed
again.
one of its. Yeah, pushes
Right.
his father, I think, down down into some lava. Uh, I mean, I guess you could say that's a justifiable change. I mean, it happens very suddenly, like it happens so fast paced because this movie's edited like a TikTok for zoomers with
yeah.
low attention spans. That's how this movie's edited.
I
Very
don't
rapid
remember.
pace. It's very
I
hard
don't.
to.
God, people he's
Yeah.
going to destroy another national landmark.
Was like did I miss a scene or something? Because I don't
Um,
remember the scene you just mentioned. I was like, wait, that happened?
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah,
Oh my god.
I had to double check.
Yeah. God.
It's edited like a TikTok because the attention span of Goldfish audience loves this movie and they'll eat it up. But yeah, um, they wanted to have their zero gravity fight. There is no actual practical use for the pyramids beyond that. That's literally the only reason they exist. They will give you all these BS reasons why they'll do it, like why the Iwi need it, but they don't need it. They really don't. Like
Yeah.
they
By the
already
way,
got their perfect society in Hollow Earth. Why would they need to go anywhere else?
Yeah,
it's like to be honest, I
I
just
guess
I
we
can't.
want technology, but like, looks
Yeah.
like they don't.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, I kind of like what they did with Kong Skull Island with those tribes. Just like, hey, we just, to be honest, they don't really have much. Just like they're just a tribe there, living in peace. They take John C. Riley, and they teaches him something, and he just like he actually I quite like John C. Riley in that movie. He's more reserved than he's normally is. He just in Skull Island he just like he was like
Yeah,
enemy.
so
Yeah, it's.
this pretty much brings us to uh they teleport into
Oh
the both of
fuck!
them just jump down into Hollow Earth and they're
Oh fuck! I
basically
forgot
like
to mention that. By the way, do you remember what the Shimmy who froze like Godzilla's arm? Like not Godzilla, Kong's arm.
yeah.
It's like there's only a frostbite.
Shimu, yeah, Shimo.
Shimu.
Yeah.
It's like there's only a frostbite, but when you hit like the anti-gravity crystal center thing, it just breaks on a dime. It's like, wow, how strong is your arm? It's like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Power scaling in the MonsterVerse is non-existent.
Yeah, because like I remember that when they had Kong, like I think they had to make Kong like a lot taller just to be like around the same height as Godzilla, which wouldn't make any sense. Because I mean the
Yeah, it's
only
kind of like I
logic,
said, like the only reason
Yeah.
why he was made that way,
yeah,
is to fight Godzilla.
Yeah, it's like, but that's not the fault of this movie. It's the fault of Godzilla versus Kong. I was like, to be honest, it's better off that movie has nothing to do with Kong Skull Island. If they're just like separate continuity, fuck it, sure.
Oh, funny thing, I just remembered something. Can you any of you guess how tall Stuko is? Diddy Kong, like the little Kong. Do you know how tall he is?
Like
So when they put him next to a 3-story building, he was around that height. So
Uh-huh.
I can't give
So
it. I
I
can't
have
give
a
a
point to
number.
make.
Yeah.
Okay, I have a point to make. He is around the same size Kong was in Kong Skull Island, which means he is somewhere around 30 to 40 meters in height. Now, were you able to pick this up on a first viewing or no? Did you have to
No,
like
not at
No,
all.
do some mental? You didn't pick it up at the first viewing? I'll tell you
no.
why that is. It is because the scaling in this movie with the CGI, it's non-existent. The
Yeah.
camera work, the uh the the cinematography, it is just filmed as if the monsters were people, not giant monsters. And so like none of the hits that the monsters give and take, none of them have any impact. Nobody receives any damage, at least visible damage, save for like the bad guys, but they're the bad guys. Um no, everybody's just kind of floaty. And in particular, this is one scene, the scene in Egypt where Godzilla is running after Kong, where he moves slowly, but it doesn't look like he's heavy. It looks like he's gliding. And the reason for this is because with CGI, especially with CGI monsters, you don't just want to make the monsters move slowly. You also want to make it look like there is effort in the movements. One of my friends, Braden, who is very well versed in uh CGI and particularly how the MonsterVerse does CGI. He's the one that explained that to me, and yeah, that's pretty much how the cookie crumbles. Like you don't if you're gonna like create a giant monster, you don't just have them moving slowly. You have them moving in such a way where it looks like there's effort to their movement, like because they do move fast. These like realistically, these creatures do move faster than the average, well, anything. So it would make sense, but the issue is, right, such massive creatures move slow to us because of how big they are, but they're actually moving really really quickly. It's just that for us, like if you look at a giant plane or something, like a giant cargo plane, uh it would look like it's moving slowly across the sky. But if you were to go on a car and try and chase it, you would never be able to outrun it. Like you would never be able to catch it. um that's pretty, I think that's a principle in physics. I don't know what it's called, but yeah, like the bigger an object is, the more distance it'll cover if it moves, which is why the monsters would like lot logistically move quickly when they move, and they even have like rapid movements, but those would be like at subsonic at best if we were to measure them mathematically. Um, but there's still weight, there's still impact. How the environment reacts to Godzilla whipping, for example, whipping the Muto into that building. Like there's actual, like he uses the environment, like it hit being hit that hard into concrete, into a building full of I beams, exposed I beams, and concrete and all that. It would, like, from the blunt force as well as being stabbed by the I beams, it would kill anybody. It would kill any monster hit by that force. So
Yeah.
that makes complete sense. That's why Godzilla 2014 was so good with this. We understood and could perceive the scale
I mean, even Kong Skull Island
a
has
lot
better.
better.
Even Kong Skull Island has that. When the Kong just picked up Brie Larson and he's holding a helicopter, just like you get a sense of how big that is. Like and
Yeah,
this
yeah.
movie,
It's the juxtaposition between a small object and a large object. That's why a lot of these monster fights take place in the rain, or like in dusty environments, because the rain is really small, obviously, compared to the monster. So we get a proper framework in our minds for how big these monsters really are and how fast they're moving, etc. Like that's why it's always beneficial to have things that are smaller than the titans move around you. That's why uh uh monster fights in cities are always going to look better than monster fights in just places where there is no proper framework to how big the monsters are. Kong Skull Island managed to weave its way around that, by having enough small objects both with the people and also having the mountains serve as a proper point of reference for us to really understand how big Kong really is, and the Skullcrawler as well.
Yeah.
Kong, Godzilla versus Kong and GXK have none of that.
I mean,
We
it's
get
like,
like one or two scenes, like one of two frames of scenes in an hour long movie, an hour and a half long movie, but that's really it. Like you
Yeah.
couldn't tell Suko from another guy, just some random bloke on the street, because the scaling is just non-existent in this movie because
Yeah,
there is
like-
no care being put into the camera work.
yeah. Speaking of no care, it's like, yeah, that's it's like, speaking of no care. Do you guys notice all the Monarch people should have died in this scene? You
Oh,
know,
yeah. Yeah.
oh
They're up
yeah, oh yeah, because anti-gravity, they're just like, here, they should be lifted off the ground. They only bring like one Monarch people on the ship. I was like, yeah, you guys should be dead when gravity returns to normal.
Yep.
Yeah.
Another
it's just like,
another thing I noticed about like the VFX, like some fact that I read was like apparently the visual effects supervisor Alessandro Angaro, like they watched the Godzilla -1 trailer, and then they decided to pay tribute to that film by recreating a shot of the ground bursting under Godzilla's footfall during the Rome sequence. So that was a fun fact.
yay, fuck off.
Was it?
Uh,
I don't remember that.
I don't even
Yeah.
remember that scene. It's like there's a lot of bullshit in this movie, and
Wait,
not to
what
say
scene was that again?
The VFX, they just like they saw the Godzilla -1 trailer and they liked the shot where like Godzilla, when he steps, like you see the ground burst. So they decided to pay tribute, quote unquote, to that movie by having Godzilla do that same thing in the Rome sequence.
I saw none of that in that movie. That was not present.
Yeah, it's like, I don't remember. That's a thing. I was like, if you tell me that actually this
That's
scene
probably
exists,
fake then, because that was definitely not in the movie.
to be honest, even if you say it's
We
in the
did
movie,
not see that in the movie.
to be honest, I can't even tell because like if you say that actually this scene exists, I was like, wait, what, really? I don't remember. The entire movie is so muddled in my mind.
Yeah, because the editing in this movie sucks.
Yeah, it's like, and most of the scenes don't
Like,
even
you
have
can't tell.
dialogue.
You're never going to be able to tell.
And
Yeah.
the movie,
So the
Yeah.
war rages on. The Scar King and Shimo.
Oh no, a lot of scenes are not.
yeah,
They're there. Godzilla and Kong, they jump down the portal and they're running like humans. And then yeah, the fight ensues, and it gets to a point where they all just teleport back into Brazil. And yeah, they're basically using Brazil as like as a playground to have their final fight.
yay.
In Brazil.
Lots of smashing.
Yeah, it's like what the fuck is this?
It looks
Corp?
horrible, by the way.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
What is? Yeah. Yeah, definitely good movie. Look at that.
Maybe they'll be
It's-
inspired by -1 to make a good movie. That's not happening anytime soon.
Yeah, that's not.
No,
happening.
guys. We have to stop comparing. We have to stop comparing the MonsterVerse to -1. All right, because they're trying to be two different things.
Yeah, honestly, like I've seen some film critiques.
That's the fan response you always get
Yeah.
whenever you mention -1.
Yeah, I've seen some fan critiques.
And my
like,
response to
not-
that is no.
Yeah. I've seen some like critic receptions like from Rotten Tomatoes and stuff like that, or IMDb, saying it's like, oh, like why don't we just get like the director from -1 and they do the next movie for MonsterVerse? It's like that's not gonna fix the problem. Like, I'm sorry. Like, one, the tones are very different, like in terms of like how these films go about Godzilla in general. One is treated like a superhero, like what's he supposed to do with that? And then the other one is like, treated like an actual threat. So yeah, it's just you can't fix the franchise, or it's not that easy to fix the franchise.
I don't
Yo,
even know.
he's not even a superhero. He doesn't even
Yeah.
act like a superhero. He just acts like a douchebag.
I mean, the movie frames it as like a superhero for some reason. Like it's kind of unsettling.
Yeah, that's mainly what I mean.
No, he's a jerk.
Yay!
funny.
And now the humans are just, to be honest, I don't think the final fight even have the humans. They just appear
No.
at the very end.
They have no involvement.
No, they're not supposed to.
They're just like, what?
Yeah, no.
Yeah, what? Damn! Wow. So that's how it works. By the way,
Oh, but
So
you
I
see, it's
just-
not about the humans. It's about the monsters.
like, what happened to
So, right. So basically, there was this prophecy, like apparently in the caves, like where apparently Scar King, wanted to, like apparently they used to take over the surface world or something
those?
like that
Fuck. Yeah.
all this time ago, and it's like Scar King wants to do that again, with his own forces and invade the surface world, and like that's basically his motivation.
But so he just
To like
stumbled.
induce
He wants
another
to start
ice
the
age.
Ice Age again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he just.
Why?
Well, I don't know.
We
But
don't know.
Also, by the way, basically that means he just stumbles upon this teleporter.
They're just using crayons at this point to pretty much create a plot out of thin air. No redraft or anything. This is okay. Does this vaguely resemble a plot? Are these strings of
Godzilla
scenes
Phase 4
happening?
hero.
Yeah.
Of things happening? Are they arranged plot wise? Yes. Okay. Good. Does it resemble a plot, and will it be passable enough and for people to eat it up? Yeah. Okay. Good. Does it have
Fuck.
a semblance, a vague resemblance to a theme that people can extrapolate in case it gets criticized, so people can call this movie deep? Is it there? Okay, good. Vague allusions to slavery with no thematic through line whatsoever. Great, got it. Good. Moving on. Okay, now we have our movie, and boom, Godzilla X Kong. That's how it was born.
Nice.
Yeah.
By the way, I just want to say is like, do you remember like in Kong Skull Island, those Monarch people were just normal people with no powers? They're just like, now they're just like, oh, I can see the future now. I can read minds. I can know this history.
Monster Jesus.
Yeah,
No, she can't read minds. No, Gia can't read minds.
I just, I don't even know what to say about this.
Gia can't do it, but like the
Yeah.
rest of the tribe can.
Yeah,
bizarre.
I can look at
Imagine
this
if a colonizer just, like if a Spaniard colonizer just showed up and just saw all the women. I wonder what what would be going through his mind.
Yeah, like fuck it. And yeah, basically, and those people can just know that this will happen again. I don't know how does that work, because those people are trapped in a thunderstorm on Skull Island, and they're like, oh, actually, we know that a long, long time ago, Scar King, whatever the fuck that is gonna take over the world again. How do we know this? Fuck
It's
me.
in the sacred text.
Yeah, no. Yeah, that's another thing. Like, we don't actually see sacred texts, so the implication is that they have oral traditions, but they don't speak. How are they gonna have an oral tradition if they don't speak?
Yeah, I was like, I literally just said, oh, fucking, you guys just have future vision now. You guys just see the future.
Oh no, they have
Yeah.
hieroglyphics. They have
they
hieroglyphics.
also
I just
it
remember
does
they have
say, like,
hieroglyphics, which I mean, fine, fair enough.
Yeah, it does say
Yeah.
that it does. They can predict the future. They say the past and the future of Scar King or something like that.
Yeah,
So they need Godzilla and
Oh, I know. They peered
another
into the rest of
Kong-like
the party.
thing has to. Yeah.
Yeah, it's so ridiculous.
The
Because,
Iwi
like,
don't
Yeah.
really do much, to be honest. They just hold their hands up and then just put Gia in clothes. They just give Gia new clothes, make her walk on a pyramid. She touches the energy of the pyramid, which is supposedly like it's the same energy from GVK, which is essentially radiation. So Gia is dead here, or if not, then she's probably immune to radiation. But the others aren't. They have cancer.
But-
They're dead.
See, but this is
G got power, and that's
basically,
it.
so
Iwi
they're all
doesn't do
mutants.
anything.
but yeah, that's kind of fucks with Skull Island in another way. So John C. Reilly should know that these tribes has like superpowers. They can somewhat see the future, and he was like, "Yeah, I'm not gonna report this."
Guys, they're mutants. That's how it works.
Oh yeah, he should have
Yeah,
known that. That's right.
yeah, he should have
Yeah.
known that. It's like that. It's like I don't even know what to say about this. Like, if you tell me this movie is isolated, I was like, I will be fine with it. It's like, and because it's connected to like 2014 Godzilla, Skull Island, King of the Monsters, and what the fuck, Godzilla versus Kong. You just unload a lot of problems by just pretending they don't exist and
This
just
might as
do
well
your
just be
own
a
thing.
movie that exists in a vacuum.
Yeah.
Maybe. Still a bad movie. Yeah, so the fight was pretty even. Godzilla and Kong versus Shimo and Scar King, and then Asuko shows up with Kong's axe, and then that's what destroys the crystal controlling Shimo. Which again, we talked about how stupid that is. And then you get the iconic tail slap where Kong throws Scar King into Godzilla's tail, and then he slams him into a building. It was very funny, guys. Yeah, and then basically Kong like kind of convinces Shimo to kill Scar King, and yeah, freezes it up, and then Kong like beats the shit out of the frozen Scar King to kill him. And yeah, that's kind of that. And then Godzilla undoes the Ice Age with his atomic breath.
Fuck me,
Yeah.
atomic breath. Too.
And then Godzilla goes back to the Coliseum to go back to sleep.
Why? I thought you live underwater or something.
That's kind of a thing. It's like, why does it choose to live in the Coliseum? It's just to look cool, I guess.
By the way, where is the Colosseum?
Italy.
Wait, but they are in Brazil.
Yeah, he just teleports there, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there was a side plot in the movie where Andress is like kind of concerned, like Gia's with like her own kind of people. She's probably gonna stay behind and all that stuff. So like there's this whole thing like, will she accept this or not? And then here it comes at the end. She's like, "Oh, I thought you wanted to stay here," but then Gia's like, "No, it's like you're my home." So yeah, it's like it could have been better if they tried more.
I mean, I don't.
It was very predictable. I also don't know why you would want to go back home.
I don't know. Probably because
home
her
kind of
entire.
sucks.
I don't know. Probably because her entire species are dead again from the anti-gravity field. Yeah.
Yeah, and that pretty much ends the human stuff because again, Trapper doesn't have a character. Brian Tyree Henry doesn't have a character.
I mean, they try with it. They just like, oh, by the way, I want to record this because no one did. Where does that go? Nowhere.
Yeah, filming all that stuff in Hollow Earth didn't really do much. Then Mothra
like,
puts back the protective barrier of their home and then goes off.
Yeah.
And then Kong goes back with Shimo and Suko to Hollow Earth and becomes the new leader. And yeah, that's pretty much the movie.
Oh fuck! I don't even know what to say about it. It's like I was like, wait, that's it? That's the ending?
Yeah, just kind of ends.
Yeah, it's just,
weirdly.
Yeah, I was like, there's no resolution. Just I mean, I guess you can say they technically kill the bad guys, but it's like, wait, so what happened to Trapper and Brian Tree Henry? It's like, what's gonna happen to like a Godzilla now? What does this change for the status quo?
I guess Kong is leading a new tribe of Kongs. How he's going to utilize them or how he's going to treat them, we'll have to wait and see. As for Godzilla, doesn't really have anything. He's just.
I just realized I was muted the entire time. I just wanted to say something about Shimo.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
So Shimo at the very end of the movie, when she gets her hypnosis, undone by the stupid plot point. I love how she just goes. I love how she just goes. Oh wait, we're doing this now.
Yeah. Hi, hello.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. We're just doing
Uh,
this again.
yeah.
Yeah, you cut off. So
Regarding Eileen Andrews' character, Eileen Andrews' character and the subplot. So the subplot is what's it called? It is moved forward by our first scene, right? Like just Gia being in a random school that Monarch created. Which where did they find the money to build an entire school? I don't know. I don't know where they got the money from. But I mean, it's good that they have a school, but like it's important to know where the money came from. Because like what else are they using their money for, and why do they have more advanced technology than the military is what I want to know. Because they have futuristic technology that you would find in Avatar. So like why do they have it but the military doesn't? That's what I want to know. Next thing up, so the whole thing is like, Gia is a fish out of water. She is the last member of her species, the last member of her tribe. Oh, it mirrors Kong so much, but she finally finds the people that she's missing. She finds the missing link. But not only like we see her like kind of playing with the kids in the tribe of the Iwi tribe, but we don't really see her establishing any connections with anyone. She's just kind of there playing. It's almost like she's in a daycare. You can tell that Gia at this point is like as old as a middle schooler. Um, she's like a middle schooler at this point. So, um, Eileen Andrews is sad because she finally found her people, but I'm her mother and I don't want to I don't want her to leave me because I love her. She's my daughter. Firstly, you put her in danger several times in the previous movie. Exposed her to monsters and dangerous radiation that could have killed both you and her. And on top of that, now you're jealous that she finally found your people and you want to keep her for yourself. You selfish prick. Um,
I mean,
on
it's
top of
like
that, like on top of the fact that like we have like a very basic connection between Eileen and like we get like the interactions with them that just feels like, oh yeah, this is proof that they love each other. Yeah. Moving on.
I mean,
um it's nothing genuine. It's just artificial, fabricated, platitudes of what could have been a character arc. But at least it's something. It's something. It's better than nothing. But then like at the very end, he's like, I thought you were gonna leave me, and if your decision is to leave me, then I will support you no matter what. But I think you would know if she wanted to leave you if you simply asked her. That's the thing. She just assumed that was the case and just went with that as fact. And she was tormented because of that the entire time. And that is
Yeah, it's
what we
just to
like
have.
to call in the business a woman moment.
it's
I guess it's more like
yeah.
it's just to make a side plot that can have a resolution, quote unquote, in
By
the
the
end,
way,
if
yeah, if
just in time for the third act.
yeah.
Yeah,
By
a
the way,
human character, if you will, a phantom of human character in writing, but it's so bare bones and it's filled with platitudes that it's just
yeah.
a mockery of what character writing is. On
Yeah,
top of the fact,
yeah,
looking at Bernie in particular, and this I'm switching to Bernie, his character in the story, like we get introduced to him again, and his podcast is still going on, and so he pretty much speaks to the audience saying, I helped save the world. He, reminding the audience of his role in GVK. But no, he didn't save the world. He didn't do anything. Not only
he
did he
could
not
shit
do
talk.
anything
To be
except
fair,
for
but yeah,
revealing to the audience that Mechagodzilla exists. Like he did, like the scene where like whiskey is poured on the control board to stop Mechagodzilla, which really didn't really do much, but at the same time shouldn't have happened. That wasn't even him. I mean, sure, it was his whiskey, but that could have been anybody's. Like that could have been water for all we care, and nothing would have changed. On top of that, he says that he saved the world. No, you doomed humanity. You helped, quote unquote, helped destroy the one deterrent humanity had against forces beyond their control. You doomed humanity. You did not save the world. Stop telling people that you saved the world. You doomed humanity. You idiot.
Yeah. And by the way,
And chapter
what is
It's over.
yeah? What by the way, what do you remember? What the Eileen Anderson asked for his help?
No, I don't
because
remember.
she basically she's like, oh, it's like I can show you this design of like my daughter drawing this and these seismic radiation things, and it's like, and you're the only one who will like say like, yeah, I believe there's a connection, and not think I'm stupid. Which, all right, I guess if that's all you
Yeah,
if that's all you
it's
want,
literally his only
it's just
character.
it's
Like,
just
ooh,
confirmation.
conspiracy nut.
You
Yeah.
He
just want to
doesn't
be
act like
it's
a
confirmation
conspiracy
bias.
nut.
You just
Like,
want
I don't see him on 4chan. I don't see him on. Yeah, like I don't see him. No. Yeah, confirming a
Yeah.
woman's beliefs.
Yeah. To be honest, I was so baffled by this. I was like, okay, what
Yeah,
can you
the whole
cut?
last movie, 11, him, Deadpool 2 kid, just with the portraits on the computer, yeah.
Yeah.
and
But
all
like,
those kids are gone, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that.
but I was like, they can't even handle 4 human characters. That's the thing. Like they don't have a payoff for Dan Stevens and Brian Tree Henry. They're just like, oh, they're there. I was like,
He was recording footage.
Oh, but you're not here for the
on
human
Earth.
characters. You're here for the monsters.
fuck off. Then why do you even try? Then why the fuck do you even try with Rebecca Hall and the Deaf Kid? Why do you even try? I don't get it. I was like,
Yeah, like
I mean-
if we're here for the monster fights, why even bother with a human plot? Clearly, you want a human plot, and I would be fine with a human plot, but just maybe write it properly.
yeah. I was like, I mean, if I
Do
if
something
I
good instead of platitudes.
It's like if I go restructure, I was like, how am I gonna work? Oh, you see, I'm just gonna remove Dan Stevens and Brian Tree Henry, and just have Rebecca Hall and the kid go to Hollow Earth with a bunch of army dudes, and they gotta follow Kong and the kid because because I don't think the movie realized you can actually parallel the Kong and the son and the quote unquote son's relationship, just like Rebecca Hall and the adopted kid. You can actually parallel that.
That plus
Oh,
the
yeah,
fact that the
yeah.
girl,
The people are going to
those
call that
connections
point
plus
as
the-
like a point of comparison.
yeah.
But
That
it's so
and then like
surface
also
level.
like
How
how
could you possibly
both
extract any-
her and Kong, like they also have like a they thought they were the last of their kind, and then they found out that they're not the last of their kind.
Yeah, I was like,
There's so many connections here, yet they don't do anything with that.
yeah, I was like,
Kong was the last of his kind until he wasn't.
yeah, I
The
was like,
Last
that,
of Us, one might say.
that's confusing me. But it's like you have all the pieces to just connect these two characters together, and you just make them side plots. I mean, they don't even talk about it once. Just like, oh fuck, just like us. Yeah, we should just like now Kong needs us. Blah blah blah. I was like, no, just like I don't even know. I think they just write it by accident. It's like, oh fuck, you guys just write a connection, a parallel between those 4 characters, and you guys didn't realize that. That's the writing of the entire movie. You just write shit, and you don't realize that you actually write something that could work.
Yeah, like what if the movie was good? What if it was well written? Don't you think like a lot less people would be complaining about it, or doing the greatest sin of all, compare it to -1? Like I knew for a fact this movie was gonna be bad, and people were telling me, "Oh, how can you say it's gonna be bad? You haven't even watched it." Okay, there is such a thing as pattern recognition. Okay, Adam Wingard directed the 2017 Death Note movie. All right, I know a bad director when I see one, and lo and behold, I was right. To my own detriment too, because I ended up watching this movie anyway, despite me saying that I didn't want to, but I did it anyway, and I suffered. But no.
I look at the writing credits of these writers, and one of them wrote, what the he wrote all the Pirates movie. He wrote the Aladdin remake. What the yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. By the way, do you know that this?
Interesting.
Yeah. To be honest, this guy's writing credit is kind of insane because he's also the writer of the original Aladdin. He wrote Shrek. He wrote the first Pirates movie. What the fuck happened to this guy? Yeah, it's like he stopped giving a shit.
Chances
20
are he
years
probably
ago.
wrote the bad parts of those movies. If not, then his writing got so watered down that we get this abomination.
Yep, it's like 20 years ago. You're a good writer, and the other, and now that's the and the next writer. It's he wrote Blair Witch. What the fuck?
That's a film directed by Adam Wingard, by the way.
Yeah, that's how I know. And do you want to know the third writer? You guys gotta love this.
Who?
Jeremy Slater.
He's the showrunner of Moon Knight.
Yeah, it's one of our
Oh
enemies.
my God, Moon Knight. Oh great. Joy. Oh joy.
And Fent Forstick.
And-
Moon Knight.
And the Death Note movie.
No. Fant Forstick. Oh great. Yeah. Well, I guess that explains the writing quality. He wrote Fan Forstick. That's awesome. You know what would have been really funny and really ironic if the writers for Pacific Rim Uprising wrote this movie.
Yeah.
That would have been hilarious because people have been comparing this movie to Pacific Rim Uprising, and for good reason. Like, but like, I mean, we haven't done this here, and we haven't done it now because there's really not a lot to compare it to, and I don't even remember Pacific Rim Uprising well enough to make a proper comparison. But it would be hilarious if the writers for Pacific Rim Uprising did this movie.
I mean, fuck. I mean, I think Pacific Rim Uprising is a better movie, and that is saying something. I mean, I guess they at least try with.
Oh,
more...
absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah, because I remember there's at least like a few moments at that movie. It's like, okay, that can work.
Yeah, the ending of Moon Knight was the pitch of this movie. Yeah, attack the
Yeah.
Great
The
Pyramids.
bare minimum. They do the bare minimum. No, well, actually, no. They don't do the bare minimum.
Yeah. Do you remember like the last episode of Moon Knight? Just like
What
they
were
just-
those moments?
They destroy
you-
the pyramid.
Yay! I literally called Godzilla vs Kong at the last episode of Moon Knight, and he did Godzilla vs Kong again.
Oh,
Yeah.
joy.
Oh my.
So,
Yeah.
go to
This
that.
movie is just miserable.
so that-
Yay.
I knew
So
what
it's
it was
come-
gonna be. Like, it's not even worse than GVK. It's just standard bad. So you can't even make fun of it for being astoundingly bad. It's just your standard Bayformers type flick, and it's just with none of the visual sophistication. Because at least with Bayformers, at least that film it looks good. You know, you can actually feel and see the parts interlocking. You can see each individual piece moving in a specific way, interlocking and interchanging each other to create this humanoid mass of metal and bolts. It looks and feels real, and it still looks cool. You still got the cool factor, and you still have it look realistic. That's the beauty of the Bayformers movie. That's why they're remembered so fondly, because the CGI was at the very least serviceable enough to, you know,
I
be
mean, at least
considered watchable.
At least
So-
Michael Bay.
but no,
Yeah.
no.
I was like, at least Michael
Wow.
Bay. It's like
What a
at least Mike. Yeah, it's like I would say this. At least
What a-
Michael Bay knows.
what a movie.
Yeah, what a movie. At least Michael Bay knows what he's doing. It's like he just wants monster fight, and he doesn't. He's not pretentious about it. It's like I'm gonna make this. It's like because I'm gonna make it like here's some heavy themes. You get it? No. It's like I don't know. I prefer just Michael Bay just get more projects than most of the directors we just break down for during our podcast, and that's insane.
Yeah.
yeah. So, let's get into that time of the.
Do you guys anything have
podcast.
more to say? Because like I have some stuff to say. Because like I had this exact same problem when I did my episode of GXK in my podcast. Like I didn't really have a lot to say. Like I mean, at the time I was having like a very downer day. I was having like a really bad day, and I couldn't really think of anything to talk about with Godzilla X Kong in particular. More people managed to chime in and mention stuff, and if you want to check that out, it's in my channel. But like in terms like plot wise, it's just a nothing movie. It's a drug. It's a drug that it's a drug that you consume and then you feel like trash afterwards once you consume it. It is candy. This movie is visual candy, and people have been eating so much of it that they've developed diabetes, but they're so in denial about it that they refuse to stop consuming that diabetes and will shame anybody that tells them that they're eating diabetes. So yeah, this film it is possible to win in this one. It's like it's a lose-lose situation. This movie does not serve any sort of purpose. Now you could argue that the purpose is it's just vacuous entertainment, and I'm just wondering like what if the movie was good? That's something I heard a Little Platoon say regarding this movie. Like, what if the movie was good? Wouldn't you be entertained and still have a good movie? Like those two things, entertainment and having good writing, are not mutually exclusive concepts. So like you can have both good writing and still be entertained. You don't have to be cerebral. You just have to be well written. And like you can even like do the bare minimum, like what Pacific Rim does, the first movie. So like I don't understand this aversion to good writing. You can have both. You can have both good writing and good spectacle. This movie has neither. And like people, and yeah, if you point out the flaws, people are going to say, "Oh, well, it doesn't bother me." Okay, it doesn't care that it doesn't bother you. They exist nonetheless. I'm just pointing them out. You can feel however you want, but like the problems are there, whether you like it or not.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't like that they're there. That's why I'm pointing them out.
Yeah, that's what I said.
To each their own.
By the way,
but
I just gotta say this.
Yeah, I don't understand the discourse in this movie. It's a different breed of autism. Let's just call it that. I promised I wasn't gonna get into any drama, so I'm gonna keep that to a minimum.
I just gotta say this. Do you guys? This movie is kind of special because I was in most of the movies. I was like, wait, what is the end goal of this movie? What do the characters want? Why did they even go to Hollow Earth? I mean, yeah, they said I'm gonna check out some signals. I was like, oh, okay. So what is at stake? What is at stake about it? What do we care about it? What do the characters care about? I was like,
how does the tribe even send a signal like that?
I was like, yeah. I mean, at the very least,
exactly. Like, how would they know how to do that if they don't even have technology? All they have is just
they have magic. So
yeah, that's
some kind.
Magic is real. Radiation magic. Radiation. Very important distinction. Radiation-based magic.
Radiation magic. That's how it works.
After watching this movie, I think we owe Ant-Man Quantumania an apology.
No.
No.
Perhaps I treated you too harshly.
I mean, I am more entertained by when watching Ant-Man Quantumania. Well, I mean, I mean, to be honest, I don't know how to compare these two movies. It's like, they are horrible.
Yeah, at least you have Paul Rudd, because Paul Rudd is a good actor.
I mean, they're all good actors.
And he's not phoning it in either. He's actually, doing the absolute best with what he can.
I don't know. I mean, it's like,
unlike the others.
I mean, I won't say good actors, bad actors. Those are just. I mean, I won't judge it based on one movie. I mean, I know Dan Stevens, I know Brian Tree Henry, I know Rebecca Hall. They're good in other things. I mean, if you see like Legion, Dan Stevens is in. He's a really good actor there.
Yeah, I definitely don't think acting is definitely not the problem with this movie.
Because they don't care. That's the thing. Yeah, like they suck here, not because they're bad actors. Like Rebecca Hall in particular is like my favorite actress in this movie in particular. The issue here is that she doesn't care, and she doesn't care because the plot doesn't make her care. The plot doesn't make her care because the plot is badly written, and she just does the bare minimum. She does like a stock footage cry whenever she needs to cry. She does a stock laugh whenever she needs to laugh. It's never genuine. Because I've seen this woman act. I have seen her at her best. She knows how to act. She just doesn't do her best here because there's not there. Like this movie doesn't deserve her talents. That's the thing. This movie does not. The same thing with The Skarsgård guy. The guy that played the Northman. I
Alex
absolutely adore the Northman. By the way, it's with him and Anya
Alexander
Taylor-Joy
Skarsgård.
and the guy that played Arthur Harrow in Moon Knight. I forgot his name.
It's like Ethan
Ethan
Hawke.
Hawke.
He was also in this movie called Leave the World Behind.
Yeah, Ethan Hawke is such a good actor. Just like he just got wasted all
No,
the
no,
time.
the other one, Arthur Harrow. Ethan Hawke. Yeah, that was him. Ethan Hawke.
Yeah.
Ethan Hawke,
that's what
Anya
I said.
Taylor-Joy, and it was directed by the same guy that did The Witch. Oh, and Willem Dafoe is there too.
And also like Nicole
Darren
Directed by the
Aronofsky.
same guy that did The Witch and the
Aronofsky.
Lighthouse.
And yeah, also
Right.
Nicole Kidman. Who's also in that movie?
Robert
I don't
Eggers,
remember.
that's his name. Robert Eggers.
Robert Eggers. Yeah, he's a good
Anya
actor. He's a
Taylor-Joy.
good. Yeah, he's a good director. Like that's a
Yeah.
thing.
Oh yeah, Nicole Kidman. Yeah. You're absolutely right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
So
Yeah, like that movie was excellent. So I've seen Alexander Skarsgård acting, and he was not doing a good job in Godzilla vs Kong because it doesn't deserve his talents.
yeah.
He's excellent. Best of the best.
Yeah, so we're at that point of the podcast where if we give our final thoughts on Godzilla X Kong: The New Empire, what would you say?
I mean, let's just say this: how you rank it up? How would you rank it upon the MonsterVerse?
I have final thoughts. To end it all. So I think the MonsterVerse should end. Adam Wingard says that for the next movie, he wants to do Destroya. Oh, you cut off. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I didn't hear that.
No, I just said how would you
You've been
rank?
cutting off. I think it might just be my headset.
Yeah, really.
It might
Yeah.
be. There
I
might
think
be
it
a
might just be
lag.
my headset that's cutting you off. I haven't been hearing you clearly this whole stream. I'm sorry. If I have been cutting him off, I'm sorry because I hear the Deviloso just fine, but it's Unity in particular that's cutting off for me.
Really?
Hmm.
Oh yeah, I don't know why. I think it might be just be my headset.
Yeah, I guess I just say how would you rank it up? How would you rank it in all those MonsterVerse movies before we give the thoughts of the MonsterVerse?
Huh.
I'd probably do Kong Skull Island at the top.
Deviloso, do you want to start first or?
Yeah, I think I'd do Godzilla. I mean, I'd do Kong Skull Island at 1, Godzilla 2014 at 2. I really don't care for King of Monsters. But I feel like the franchise just gets worse and worse. I prefer versus Kong over this one. I think this is the worst one in my opinion. New Empire, that's the worst. Something like
that. I would say Skull Island first because
I don't know about that. I think King of the Monsters is up there, and Godzilla versus Kong. I mean, Godzilla versus Kong is more offensive to me because it had such wasted potential for storytelling. More than this, there was not a lot to go with from. Like after the events of Godzilla versus Kong, there was nowhere left to go for the MonsterVerse, which is why I find
Black seen the show, by the way. So
Black Rooney did see.
Monarch. I've seen Monarch. It is dookie.
Yeah.
My personal ranking would be similar to Deviloso. It would be Kong Skull Island and then 2014. But then afterwards, I would put Monarch Legacy of Monsters in third place, merely just comparatively. Then Godzilla King of the Monsters. Then Godzilla versus Kong. No, then Godzilla the New Empire. And then at the very bottom, Godzilla. Wait, no, actually, no. Actually, no, hold on. No, scratch that. Number 1 would be Skull Island. Number 2 would be 2014. Number 3 would be Monarch. Number 4 would be it's because they're also bad in just they're all like the same level of bad in their own unique way, so it's kind of hard to categorize them like that.
Yeah.
But I guess
King of the Monsters did have Charles Dance.
objectively, because from a subjective viewpoint, I think like King of the Monsters is like, to me, that movie is not that offensive, but it's the one that breaks the world building the most. So
Yeah.
like, but I don't
Yeah.
hate it as much as the other. I yeah, it had a good soundtrack so it had redeemable. It had that as a redeemable aspect of it. What about Skull Island show? Oh yeah, I forgot. You know what? The Skull Island show. I completely forgot about that. But the Skull Island show, which I have seen it, and I did a short review on it. It's a nothing show. It's not. It is not canon to the MonsterVerse. They say they are, but the only connection between the MonsterVerse is the fact that Kong is there and the Skull Crawlers are there. But that is it. Like, the comparisons just begin and end there. It has zero connections to the MonsterVerse whatsoever. It is just.
Yeah, I
Might as
was
well just
wondering
not be
because like
canon.
this movie did have like a destroyed base in Hollow Earth, and I was just wondering, is that from the show or something? But it sounds like no.
No,
It sounds unrelated.
No, it isn't.
No.
no,
But
yeah, no. That no such thing as in the Skull Island show.
Yeah.
how good is that?
I know that for a fact.
How bad is the Skull Island show?
It's mediocre. You know, it's not good, but it's not like terrible either. It's just kind of in the middle. There is some good character work here and there, but you know, it's just kind of you know, it's very in the middle. It's
So
it's pretty
already-
much the Kong Skull Island movie all over again, but quirkier and for the current year, you know.
That's the
It's
animated
kind of
show,
current
right?
year, specifically with how people talk, because everybody in that show talks like Discord users. It is so bizarre. The dialogue choices are just so bizarre. That's why I call it current day, because they talk like how people on Discord talk, and it is just so strange. And I don't know why they pick that kind of dialogue because that's not how normal human beings interact.
It is an animated show, right?
yeah.
Like
The
how people
clone.
talk on Discord is just purely performative. That's not how people talk.
By the way, being a mediocre show already puts it like top 3 in the MonsterVerse.
True, that's true.
Yeah, he did put Monarch in the
That's
top
true.
3 as well. So yeah.
Yeah. Wow. So yeah. How would I go for it? It's like
It's sad. It's like, this movie makes me sad because it's indicative of what's to come. They're pretty much repeating the same mistakes as the show
over and
era.
over. Yeah.
That's what they're doing, because a lot of people are comparing the MonsterVerse with the Showa era, which it started out serious but then became goofy, and coincidentally enough, the writing quality took a significant dip. So
Yeah.
and coincidentally, the MonsterVerse is also showing a significant dip in writing quality. So comparing it to the show era is pretty appropriate, but that's not a good thing. That's not necessarily a good thing. People, oh, it's emulating the Showa era. It's so cool. No, it isn't. No, it isn't. This is probably like the last. Yeah, it's probably going to be the last successful
Probably.
MonsterVerse movie
Yeah.
in the before we start getting diminishing returns. I mean, like right now we live in a world where Dune Part 2 is less successful than Godzilla X Kong, which is baffling to me.
Wait, really?
Yeah, it earned $80 million in opening weekend, and Dune Part 2 only earned $11 million. Right now it's sitting at $500 million at the box office,
No,
and Dune is lagging behind.
$660 million for Dune Part 2. MonsterVerse, it's currently in 361 million. What the fuck?
300? Oh. I mean, that's still pretty significant. It's still a pretty big leap, and you know, it's the highest grossing opening weekend of the year. So,
And yeah,
I mean,
it's like-
it might overtake Dune, but recently Dune got an extended runtime box lifespan at the IMAX theater. So like it's still going to be in IMAX theaters for some time, which will give it a boost. Hopefully, it'll be enough to keep Godzilla X Kong at bay. But yeah, no, like I don't understand how people could just like it might overtake Dune at some capacity, which is
Maybe.
terrifying. Because why? Like, has the world gone mad?
Ugh.
People are gonna call us boring for criticizing this MonsterVerse movie, but Dune was a fun movie. It was fun, so we don't hate fun. We hate it when it's stupid. Like, fun doesn't have to be stupid. Like, being stupid and being fun are not mutually exclusive concepts.
I
You
don't
can have
even-
both.
I was like,
Yeah.
yeah. It's
This
like,
movie
I was-
has funny memes, so I will appreciate it for that simple fact.
yeah.
And also in the general sense, it's like this franchise is goofy, but this is like the first time they actually embrace the goofiness in some regard. At least with Kong,
In a
and
long
Godzilla.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
I would yeah,
Because
I'll
like
just,
the other films, like they're
I
goofy, but like
think
they take themselves seriously as
the
well.
MonsterVerse should end. Because
Yeah,
Adam
either way.
Wingard wants to do Destroya. Me personally, I don't want him to.
Yeah, I mean no one wants him to make another movie, just saying.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I don't want Adam Wingard to touch Destroya with a 10-foot pole because as badly written as the Heisei era was, the Godzilla versus Destroy is probably the best one, and because it's the most well written movie in the Heisei era, it became my favorite, and so Destroya became my favorite monster, and I don't want him to touch him because he's gonna ruin him. And
yeah.
but if he's gonna do that, then he might as well just use that to reboot the MonsterVerse, destroy everything, kill everyone, and start over because there is no fixing the MonsterVerse at this point. Like we had our opportunity with Godzilla X versus Kong. We had chances to fix the MonsterVerse then with Godzilla versus Kong, but then they got Adam Wingard to do the next movie, and any opportunity for redemption for fixing they were just thrown out the window. So I think they should just reboot, start over, put Godzilla on hiatus again for the 4th time. Like Godzilla has been on hiatus for like 4 times in a row now, and it's always for the same exact reason. Well, except like the one exception being like the Heisei era, because at least the Heisei era tried to take itself seriously, but the writing was still bad. The writing was still bad. So like no matter how many times, it doesn't really matter like the tone. I might have argued this at one point, but I was wrong for saying that. The tone doesn't matter as much as the writing. So like if the writing is consistently good, no matter the tone, serious or goofy, people are still going to love it, and there's not going to be that many diminishing returns. And even if there is, they're not going to be as significant. Hell, Spider-Man 3 was the highest grossing Spider-Man movie of the entire trilogy. And it was easily the worst one. Now, it's also my favorite one, so I feel like a little conflict of interest. But yeah, Spider-Man 3 embraced the camp of that specific Spider-Man universe. But it still had enough good things going on for it in the narrative to
justify
keep it afloat. And yeah, the MonsterVerse doesn't have that.
Yeah, I haven't ranked the movies yet. Yeah. So I just like Skull Island because it's isolated. It doesn't have monsters destroying the city. So best by default. Next movie Godzilla because at least it has Bryan Cranston. And I guess King of the Monsters, Godzilla versus Kong. I mean, at least I care about the bad guy. And New Empire. Yeah, I just don't know what to say about this franchise. It's like you don't have a lot. I mean, the returning characters doesn't really do anything. It's it's like they clearly don't have a through line for those movies. It's like, what is the end goal? I'm just gonna ask, what is the end goal for this franchise?
For people to have fun.
Fuck
Yeah,
off.
pretty much.
Yeah.
You just hate fun.
Yeah, I hate fun so much. I mean, to be honest, I'll say this: the franchise doomed itself from Godzilla versus not Godzilla versus Kong, Godzilla King of the Monsters already. Yeah, they just
I have a suggestion, by the way, for all
yeah.
of you, not just the people in the panel, but also just people in the audience. I have a suggestion for all of you. Look up the name Matt Alsop with Matt Allsopp. He is a concept artist for the MonsterVerse. You will find much more enjoyment looking at the concept art than watching these movies. I guarantee you, because the concept art is beautiful. He's on Twitter. Owen Kellen is another concept artist that does stuff for the MonsterVerse. His concept art is also beautiful. Highly recommend it. Much more enjoyable than the MonsterVerse.
Oh yeah, easily. Oh yeah, it's it's
Yeah.
like you can see there's a lot of talent
There's
in this
actual
movie.
beauty and talent.
But it's like, yeah, the writing is shit,
Yeah.
and the director just like, I don't know what he wants. That's the thing though. It's like most of the time when you see like,
Action figures,
yay, I'll
pretty
say this
much.
because I'll say this because most people blame the writer. It's like, but I want to say it. Most of the time, the writers don't have much saying when it comes to movies. The director just like give all the calls, like, okay, do this. We have to make this happen. And the writer's like, okay. So like not only the writers are just like bad at their job, that the directors just keep forcing shit happen. That's the thing. Why did they keep letting this?
Yeah, it's just like the overall vision can sometimes taint like the. I mean, there are still bad writers from the list that we've mentioned, and then there's also like there is like a lot. There's only so much you can do when the overall general premise of the story just isn't really working out. I mean, I guess like there is ways you could make it interesting in terms of the story. I mean, like having this whole mother daughter connection thing, and then having like this whole thing with Kong connecting with a kid, and having these two things parallel each other. Not to mention these two beings that used to think that they were the last of their kind until they realize that they're not. There's like a lot of there's a lot of things that you could put subtext into, but they just don't do that. So there's like a decent idea somewhere in this movie. It's just like, but like, it's just I knew coming into this movie that I'm not going to expect
It's
anything
just
like that.
executed
because-
poorly.
Yeah, I'm just not going to expect
Yeah.
anything like this in a franchise where they don't really care about these aspects so much as just to get more action figures out there.
Just
Um,
saying. Yeah.
Godzilla has pink fire now. King Kong has a robotic arm.
Mm.
So yeah, it's
Uh,
different. So
He
Yeah.
doesn't care. No.
that's all
Yeah,
we
it
get.
doesn't
Asgard has
care.
confirmed
Doesn't
that
care.
he doesn't care.
Yeah,
So, yeah.
no, yeah, that speaks for most people in this franchise. And by the way, for the audience, I just got asked, why the fuck do you guys even keep referencing Bryan Cranston in the first movie? And just say that is the worst mistake. Because you guys actually give a shit about that character. You guys care about good characters. You guys don't just watch it for monster fighting. And that's a mentality I do not understand why these people just like, oh, but no, we don't care about the characters. No, you do. You guys still reference that character after even until now. You don't have to you guys shouldn't say that you just stop caring about characters when it comes to monster movies. That's I was like I'm just so baffled by most people when it comes to just keep telling me just turn my brain off monster fighting. I was like, shut the fuck up. It's it's actually kind of sad. That's what people just that's people's standard at this point.
You know, if you need to turn your brain off to enjoy a movie, that says more about the movie than me. Like I shouldn't have to turn my brain off to enjoy a movie. I should be allowed to use my brain, and it's the movie's job to make satisfy the intellectual side of the human psyche to, it's that's their job, an intellectual satisfaction. That does not mean you have to be cerebral, because a lot of people conflate being well written with being cerebral and super smart and super deep. That's not what I'm asking. That's not what we are asking. That's not what any rational human being is asking. We're just asking for things to be well written, for the movie to not insult our intelligence by treating us like children, by making everything dumb. That's all we want.
Yeah,
Because
we
and
were
a lot of people say, "Oh, this film wasn't made for you. It was made for kids." Well, number one, you're still watching the movies. Number two, kids' content does not have to be trash. I mean, look at Puss in Boots: The Last Wish. Number three, this movie is made for for everyone, for the entire family. Inside Out is made for kids. The Coco Melon is made for kids. This is a film for everyone.
yeah.
So
I
We
mean,
were
I
talking
think
about
that they have a responsibility to respect the intelligence of everyone.
yeah. We were
Yeah,
talking
that's-
about Kung Fu Panda on our channel last week for our last podcast, and yeah, Kung Fu Panda was like, I mean, when you hear the name Kung Fu Panda back in the day, it's like, it might be a silly movie about a panda voiced by Jack Black, and surprisingly enough, there's a lot of deeper things to talk about in that movie. Despite it seeming like it is a kids movie, but there's a lot of things that you can appreciate as an adult right now.
Yeah,
And yeah, it's like
every single
it's just,
cartoon from the early 2000s.
yeah, a lot of
I mean,
those, yeah.
and just saying, people still talks about Toy Story. So like, yeah, of course, and that's a fucking kids movie. Like it's like one of the first like
And
3D
Up.
animated movie.
And
Yeah,
Up, yeah.
and Incredibles.
Incredibles.
Like,
Some of these franchises were ruined down the line, but people will
yeah,
still remember those classic good ones
I mean, even
from
yeah.
yeah.
I mean, also the Iron
Yeah.
Giants. Yeah, it's like and that
The
movie
Iron Giant.
bombed, by the way, and people still talked about it.
It did not deserve to bomb.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That movie's excellent.
Oh yeah, it's great in a writing perspective.
Yeah. So
And-
I guess
Yeah.
for my final thoughts on Godzilla X Kong, it's about what I expected. I had no expectations, and it pretty much reached that. So good job, I guess.
I don't think there's much left to say about this movie, to be honest. I think
Yeah,
we said
there were-
everything that could have been said.
I will use some of the memes that were from this movie, but that's just for that pure entertainment value and nothing else.
yeah, it's
So, yeah.
Come Earth. Yeah, it's like for my thoughts, it was like I at least expect it's gonna be really ridiculous. Iron Giant 2. And by the way, Iron Giant is how you form a connection between a human character and a monster character. Watch that film. Yeah, and this film, I expect some shitty action scenes just like for me to laugh at. And no, most of the movies are not just bad, it's just a lot of walking around, wandering with characters just I don't even know what they want to find. Why do they care about those? They're just wandering shit. And at the end, I was so bored out of my mind and just like it's just so tedious. And so it's not even just really shit like I expected. It also bores me. Like, yeah, I definitely disagree. It's a dumb fun movie.
Yeah, it's not a dumb fun movie.
It's just a dumb, sad movie.
Yeah, that's how I describe this franchise. Dumb and sad.
So Blackaroonie,
Yeah.
your final thoughts?
Godzilla is like my favorite character in fiction. I mean, slowly Paul Atreides is becoming my favorite character in fiction, but like I have a deep love for Godzilla. So seeing this happen to my boy, it is just sad. And it's like there's nothing that could be done about it. I mean, I just write Godzilla stories on the side. Like recently, I wrote a Godzilla story that's pretty much telling it from the perspective of a scientist who is about to die due to radiation poisoning, telling how Godzilla rose from a power plant and is out to destroy the world. And like the whole plan is just like a little mini anthology on how the humanity is going to fare against this this creature. So yeah, I feel like if I could come up with like I posted it in like oh I didn't post it in my server, never mind, I should post it, but I posted it Unity, you're in the Mauler server. I posted it
Yeah.
there if you wanted to, if you want to read it. Like I'm pretty sure that you could say I'm pretty sure you could say that if you read it, because I think I did a pretty good job. I think
Sure.
I did a pretty good job with the writing. I made sure that the writing was as immaculate. Well, and by immaculate, I mean I made sure that the writing was as coherent as I possibly could, while also maintaining the audience's grip, like with interesting storytelling.
Is it Godzilla
And I would, if I can
Sontanos?
come up,
Is it Godzilla Sontanos Fantanos?
so
Is that
Thanos Thanatos, which is Latin, no, Greek for living death.
Oh,
That
is it
that
this
is what
one?
it translates to, living death.
Hmm.
If and it's it, and I tried to put in as much imagination as with so Thanos Thanatos. Yes,
Yeah, I
yes,
found it.
that was me.
Hmm.
There's an updated version that I'm gonna post later down the line.
Yeah, it makes
Yeah, I'm
sense.
gonna post a new version later down the line because I fixed some of the grammatical mistakes that I found there in the. But yeah, if and I tried make giving Godzilla these imaginative new use of his atomic breath. I gave his like his breath. You know, if you've seen Chernobyl and you know anything
Yeah,
about Chernobyl, you would know that like there was like this blue glow in the reactor when when the meltdown happened. So I had the description of the atomic breath be that of the same color that the radiation when the Chernobyl
uh,
accident happened. um and I also had the atomic breath just melt stuff. It wasn't just like it behaved kind of like a fluid, but it also melted stuff. So I try to be as imaginative with the atomic breath and like brand new with it and original as possible. And if I can have, if someone like me who is an amateur writer can have like this level of imagination, which is really not much, it's like the bare minimum. If you can have this level of imagination as an amateur and still write a compelling story, because I've told people have told me that was an excellent story. Um, it was an excellent short story. Not to sniff my own farts, but if you can just do that as an amateur, imagine how much more a writer that gets paid hundreds of thousands of dollars in the industry could do, and yet somehow
yeah,
they don't, and I don't understand why. Like
yeah,
you're wasting your
because
talents
I'm writing a
if
lot
you
of
have
script
talents at
right
all.
now. Yeah, it's like I'm writing a lot of scripts right now,
Oh,
so
interesting.
that's yeah, it's like I mean, it's not related to any franchise, just my own story for movies, short film, and shows. It's like that's we just been like writing stuff. We have to connect things like okay, this happened because of this happened, therefore this happened. It's like something like this. It's just you not only need imagination, you need
Yeah.
to like understand how to write stuff. You can't just like okay, you watch a movie and you understand why does it work. It's like it's that's a lot of writing. You just understand stuff
Yeah.
and you want to you want to tell something to the world. It's like and just explain why do you want it.
Yeah, you want to share a story, and but you have to learn how to share it. You have to make because that's the art of storytelling. It's just making your lie, because stories are just like not necessary. A lot of stories, the ones that are not based in like real events, they're like very, very elaborate lies. And if there's anything that would make me suspicious that you are lying, if there's like an incongruency that takes me out of the lie, then you probably told the lie incorrectly, because that's what stories are. They're very elaborate lies that we tell ourselves to entertain ourselves. But if the lie is not believable, then you failed.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, you just keep seeing like the writer's hand all over the corner, just like, oh yeah, you're just making things happen and stuff, just naturally progressing it. That's my thoughts.
Yeah.
It's it's
Yeah. So that about concludes our episode on Godzilla X Kong, the New Empire. Blackaruni, it was great having you as our guest. How would you pitch your channel for our audience?
I didn't quite hear that. Could you repeat that?
Oh, it's just like where people can find you. What is it that you do for your YouTube channel?
Oh, me, no, I have my channel is just media discussion. Right now I'm discussing Godzilla stuff. I'm making a video on Monarch. I have some video essays along the way. I was working on my Godzilla versus Kong video, but given my dealings with the U.S. military, it appears that's gonna have to wait for indefinitely. So, I'm just gonna have those videos until before I get deployed. So, yeah, I have a YouTube channel. I have a podcast, Black Screen, Sundays at 12 p.m. Eastern time, or whenever it's convenient around that time, because I can't always have it, at the exact same time every day, because things happen. Even hell, yesterday our stream began 2 hours earlier than usual. So yeah, and I recently re-uploaded the stream because OBS was being wonky. So yeah. I have a Patreon, so you can watch some unreleased videos that I have there. I haven't uploaded there in a while, actually, and I have a short little edit that I guess you could watch anywhere else, but the tiers are set up so that it is just donations. Like you're not actually getting anything. It is just if you want to donate. So like you get all the benefits in every single tier. It's just and the lowest tier is just a singular dollar. So like if you want to support me, that's the best way to do it. I also have a Twitter account where I post not regularly because I try to keep myself away from Twitter because Twitter is a hellhole. I have Reddit, which I also keep away from even more so than Twitter because at least with Twitter I get news, but with Reddit it's just a cesspool. So yeah, you can find me on Reddit as well. And yeah, that's how you can find me. And on Discord, you can find me on Discord. I have a Discord server specifically for Godzilla. And if you become an honorary member there, you will unlock a secret server that Unity is a part of.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was great.
So yeah, that's how
it was great having you. It was great having you, Blackaruni. Definitely a lot more insight on the Godzilla franchise overall
than us. Yeah, we just kind of
know like if it was just us two, we'd probably not say as much.
Yeah, we just saw this movie. It's like we just expect it to be bad. It's like, okay, what do you want to talk about? It's like, yeah, how bad is this?
Yeah,
movie?
like you thought it was bad. It was worse than you thought. Actually, you just thought it was just normal bad, but no, it was much worse.
Yeah. And yeah. By the way.
This will need to be updated, but like we do have another channel, another Review Score podcast where we archive these videos. So it's on my channel right now for the live stream, but tomorrow you'll find it on this channel. And then we'll give Blackaruni that link so that for the server. And yeah, so please subscribe to that. That's where we archive our podcast. We also have a Spotify of the same name, another Review Score podcast. All of these links, including Blackaruni's channel, will be in the description down below. And yeah, thanks for watching, everybody, and we will see you next time. Goodbye, everybody.
Goodbye.
Hasta la vista, baby.